So feel free to ask me anything about autism. Anything at all about autism. So welcome in, welcome in. What's up, guys? Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you're just curious about autism or just want to know more about autism, you know, what we struggle with, what autistic people struggle with, or if you want to learn how to approach with them or want to approach them or so forth. So yeah, this is going to be an exciting live. What's up? What's up, Waylon? How's it going? How's it going? Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're just curious about it or so forth and whatnot. Good evening. How are you tonight? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you? I'm doing good this evening, honestly. I am doing good this evening. Good, guys, if you're new here, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you want to know something about it or so forth. Rachel, welcome back. Welcome back. How are you? Glad to have you back here, for real. Really glad to have you back here. It's going good. Just got my new apartment. Hey, that's awesome, Waylon. Congratulations. Congratulations.
There was some good.
Congratulations to you. Again, guys, feel free to like that. Click that like button. It really does help the algorithm. Again, guys, if you're new here, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all if you're struggling with an autistic kid or so forth or anything like that. That's awesome, Waylon. What's going for? That's what's up, Waylon. That's awesome. Again, guys, if you're new here, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I have autism, so ask me anything about it if you want to know how to approach someone with autism, or if you're curious of what they struggle with, or if you're an autistic person yourself and you want to know anything and whatnot. So yeah. Click that like button as well. It really does help. Really, really does help. You know, okay, so again, feel free to ask me anything about autism. Any questions at all? Any questions? How's your autistic son doing, Rachel? By the way, how's your autistic son doing? Or daughter or son? It's a daughter, right? It's a daughter. My bad. Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you want, or curious about autism, what we struggle with, what I struggle with, or if you know someone with autism, feel free to ask anything. Or if you have a son who's autistic, or you know someone who's autistic, if you're curious about anything, feel free to ask me anything about autism. You know what we struggle with, or so forth, and also, yeah, definitely click that like button because it really, really does help. This is an autism live. I'm asking people to, ask me anything about autism so we can learn more about autism and stuff, and we can help each other and grow a community and so forth. So, yeah. OMG, that's me. I have ASD. Melky, great to see you. What do you struggle with ASD? And again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm really trying to, help people out there who know someone that's autistic or is autistic. Just feel free to answer questions for maybe something you could do if you struggle with something with autism and so forth and whatnot. And guys, make sure to click that like button as well. Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free just to ask me anything about autism stream. Ask me anything if you're curious to know more about autism, or if you know someone with autism, if you want to know how to approach them or make them happy, or if you're autistic yourself, feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. And click that like button as well, guys, because it really, really does help to click that like button. I'm looking at... Can birds be autistic? No, Kush, I don't think they can. Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you do have autism yourself, or if you know someone who's autistic. Food texture, yeah, dude, I love food texture as well. We as autistic people, we love textures in general. For example, and we love fidgets too. We love fidgets as autistic people as well. For example, this pen right here, it has rubber on it. Autistic people like that type of stuff, just feeling the rubber or fidgeting with it or so forth, or even paper and whatnot, just a tactile feel. So yeah, we as autistic people understand that. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you want to know about autism. I'm the person to ask if you know someone with autism, if you're just curious about autism, what we struggle with, and so forth. Ask any question at all you have. Think of one, and if you're autistic yourself, feel free to ask me questions as well. And guys, make sure you click that like button and also subscribe and click that like button. How's it going? It's going good, Daniel. Make sure you click that like button. Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you know anyone with autism or who's autistic. If you want to know anything about autism at all, if you know someone, or if you're just curious about, or if you're someone with autism themselves, feel free to ask me any questions. I have a cousin with a form of autism called tube 3. I'm that's interesting. I was wondering if you knew if it was let me see. Is that real? Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you have any questions. I don't know if Braden is saying a real thing, but I'll look it up right now for you, okay? Full spectrum, that's what's up, Green. Make sure to click that like button. Wait, I haven't been diagnosed as an autistic, but I love pens and rubber grip. Yes, it is a tactile feel. Local, you should definitely click that like button, subscribe, and come back to my lives. So yeah, like we as autistic people, we love textures and stuff like rubber and so forth. So if you haven't been diagnosed, guys, definitely I recommend going to a doctor. Okay, I got you, person who asked about tube 3. I've never heard this. I'm glad. Can you want to tell me more about it, Tube 3? I know you said you didn't know much about it, but I really do appreciate you telling me about that. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Make sure you guys click that like button because so we could get to more autistic people or people who want to know or something. Explain your autistic behaviors. Well, I love textures. I love pacing. I get it. I do stimming motions when I'm excited. I also am just like, I struggle with noises and so forth. I think a lot of people do. I'm on the spectrum as well. I love Taco Bell, but I tore up the bathroom. It looks like someone fried off a shot. Oh, shoot. John, why'd you do that? Did you just, get angry? Sometimes autistic people have, we get angry sometimes. What's up, Nick? How's it going? Make sure to click that like button. Secrets, what's up? Hi, how's it going, Secrets? Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me about anything about autism in the comments. Ask me anything. I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you're curious about autism, or if you know someone with autism, or you have a son with autism, make sure you guys click that like button too. What's your favorite Pokemon color? My favorite color is yellow. So Tube 3 is a form of autism that creates men's amount of anger outbursts, and my aunt gets hit. Back of the eyes, hair pulled. Oh shoot! Wow, so your cousin who's 3 does this. I am very sorry to hear it. So it's basically a form of autism that, with more angers is what you're saying, Braden. Man, yeah, I'd recommend, trying to give him behavioral therapy. You know what I'm saying? You don't look like someone with autism. Well, I do. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, and I will, if you're curious about it, or if you're someone autistic yourself, feel free to ask me anything in the comments. This is Ask Me Anything stream for autism or autism in general, and click that like button as well. And if you know someone with autism, let me know, and so forth. Yes, local. I am local for sure. I'm not like with the political flag guys and stuff like that. Like I am a Trump supporter as well, but please don't differ the two. I sympathize with people with autism and so forth, like and whatnot. It shouldn't really be aligned. You know what I'm saying? Once again, how is autism affecting your life right now? Well, it's affecting me because I don't know, my mom being late and so forth with things is really bothering me and so forth. But yeah. Again, guys, I do have autism. Hi, what's up, Martha? Guys, make sure you click that like button. Again, guys, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, or if you're an autistic person yourself, feel free to ask me for like coping strategies or stuff to give you tips on what to help with and so forth. Guys, we're 4 likes away from 20 likes, so if you haven't liked already, click that like button. And again, guys, if you guys know someone who's autistic or autistic yourself, feel free to ask me anything about autism. Yes, Boot. I don't really get political with my autistic streams and so forth. Hit the like button. Thank you, Heart. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. This is Ask Me Anything About Autism Live, and make sure to click that like button too. I got the radical lefty communist kind of autism. I didn't know Trump autism exists. Lucy, I don't know if that's a joke, but I don't know if you actually do have autism, but that's great. Again, guys, I'm not really political with these autism streams. Okay, I do some political content, but still, guys, make sure you guys subscribe and click that like button as well. I have cousins with autism, and with all you are just people. It's exactly local. Is ADHD autism? It is not autism. That's a completely different disorder. So yeah. Again, guys, it if you are autistic or want to know anything about autism, I have autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism and definitely click that like button as well. Feel free to ask me any question you have about autism and so forth. If you want me to give you tips or strategies and whatnot. And we are 5 likes away from 25 likes. The older person with tube 3 is most severe of the side effects because they start to lose the ability to walk and they cross their eyes. Oh, shoot. So, yeah, well, I am so sorry, Brayden. Brayden, definitely feel free to ask me anything. I am here for you, Brayden. You should definitely subscribe and come back in my lives. I scored a 37. What is your MIT? Mine's ITJ too. Interesting. You should definitely subscribe like that. You should definitely subscribe for that and come back to my lives. Again, guys, if you're new here, I'm sorry. My son is autistic. It's all right, Ian. Ian, feel free to ask me anything about your autism and stuff. If you want to know more about your son or how he deals with things and so forth. So yeah. And my mom runs a company that helps autistic people learn daily functions. Love it, man. Hey, that's awesome, Dylan. Dylan, definitely click that like button and subscribe. Feel free to ask me anything. You guys, guys, here, I'm really trying to help autistic people and people who know autistic people. People who are mothers or who have a cousin that's autistic, how to get along with them, what they struggle with, and so forth. So, guys, feel free to ask me anything. I'm here for you and whatnot. And even if you're autistic yourself, click that like button and subscribe and come back in my lives, guys. What's up, Jace? How's it going? Is it true that people who are autistic are having trouble keeping a job? Yes. So here's the thing, guys. For anyone who knows that someone who's autistic, you got to know this is a fact with all levels of autism. You guys would be surprised to hear that only 20% of autistic people have jobs in the United States. Okay. And, you can say that's an issue because, it's hard to become independent. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is, it makes sense, right? Like, autistic people are usually, a slightly slower in tasks. They're able to obsess. They have superpowers for sure, autistic people. But me as an autistic person, I'm allowed to say this, okay? They're usually slower than usual in multiple tasks. And, it has been proven statistically that they're really not that good of workers and whatnot, but that's nothing, not a knock. I'm just saying it's super hard to get a job as an autistic person. And I would really advocate you, if you have a son who has autism or a daughter and whatnot, and you're trying to really push them to get a job, know that it's probably not likely that they're going to and whatnot, or they're going to hold it. Okay. But is still hope. I recommend every autistic person to literally, try to become self-employed and whatnot. I know it sounds weird, but there are ways. I as a parent of an autistic person, if you are, I feel like that you should try to just get them to do something that they're passionate about, or something like create a social media page or something that reposts I don't know, history content or something like that. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe, click that like button. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. How's your autism? I like hearing about others. Well, in terms of me being autistic, it's hard. It's hard out here. You know what I mean? It's hard to focus. It's hard to stay dialed. It's hard to be independent. But, we all have to be here together for autistic people and, try to make them better and try to make their lives better, because it's really hard being an autistic person. But we're going to make it better. You know what I mean? 2 likes till 30 likes, guys. And guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Everyone be nice, and he does have autism. Don't be mean. Thank you, The Masked. I appreciate you, The Masked Clover. Definitely click that like button for sure and sub. Is autism like OCD? I'm not sure. I don't really know much about OCD, Josh, in all honesty. But I know OCD's trouble concentrating. It probably has some similarities for sure, but it is a different thing. Autism is a developmental disorder. I have ADHD and I've been shifting work from one to another. Those never last one. Nate, I'm so sorry. I get it. I get it. Definitely click that like button, guys. Autism is caused by toxins or brain blocking electron signals. No, that's not exactly what it's caused by. So people with autism should be treated different. Exactly. Because listen, like, I'm sorry, bro, but look, I feel like I'm being mean here and stuff, but it's the truth, all right? And honestly, bro, I swear to God, getting a job for someone who's autistic, whether it's a grocery store, it's torture. It's overstimulating. It requires socializing with autistic people. They have a social delay. Please, please, if you're a son with a high functioning autistic person or an autistic person that's trying to or get a job, or a parent who's trying to force their son or daughter to get a job, please try to drift to something else, okay? Because I'm telling you, remember, it's a developmental disorder. That means they develop slower than everyone else, okay? So do I, okay? So you really got to not put too much pressure on them. Otherwise, they're going to do outbursts, So the key thing is pressure. Me as an autistic person, my mom and stuff like that has put tremendous pressure on me that I was not ready for. And that has caused outbursts and stuff. And it's very common for people with autism to do. So please, please be easy on them. Please don't put that much pressure on them. And also don't think that they're going to be as capable as a regular son and stuff like that. Like, I know it sounds bad and whatnot, but you got to really go easy on them, please. You know what I'm saying? My little sister is autistic, age 2. We had her since was 3 years old. We are going to adopt her. She was born with and other bad things in her system. Oh, shoot, that mask. Thank you. That is so awesome to hear. She adopted a little. She adopted someone that's going to be autistic, so that's great. The mask. That's awesome. What's up? What's up, guys? Guys, make sure you click that like button and subscribe if you're new. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, anything you're curious about autism at all, whether you know someone with autism or you're autistic yourself. Feel free to ask me anything if you're trying to get along with them or whatnot. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to not only try to basically tell you about autism, but also help you if you're an autistic person as well. Again, guys, click that like button as well. Subscribe too. Do you think that Mozart was autistic? Because I think he was. He might have had Asperger's, Josh. He might have had Asperger's. Mozart's the artist, right? I'm not sure who he is. I have a cousin who has autism. Briley, feel free to tell me about him. That would be great. Briley, I really do appreciate you telling me about that. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe. You diagnosed? Yes, I am. I got diagnosed when I was 8. Again, guys, if you're new here, click that sub button, subscribe. I'm an autistic person, so feel free to ask me anything about autism again. No, I'm not. No, guys, self-diagnosis is not a thing, okay? Again, please, guys, if you're someone who just thinks they have autism, you got to be diagnosed, okay? You got to go to a doctor, take the test, and also get evaluated by a doctor as well. Self-diagnosis is a real big problem in the autistic community, so please, even if you think you're autistic, you can stay on here and stuff, but make sure you get diagnosed first, okay? Please, it is a real big issue in the community. So yeah. You guys be nice. He has autism. Thank you, The Mass. I really do appreciate that. Again, guys, if you're new here, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm here to, tell people about autism and so forth. It is really hard to find a job, even though if you're not autistic. Yeah, got you. Yeah. Well, that explains it for me, job-wise. I'm high-functioning, but people don't understand me, and it takes hard. I speak my mind, and it's taken wrong way. Lots of jobs aren't doing. Yeah, interesting, ma'am. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, so, look, it's rough getting a job being autistic. Here's what I think in society we should do with autistic people. I think we should tell them to leverage their superpowers, level the obsession they could have with topics and do something in that area, what other way. I believe we need to help autistic people try to get self-employed or run something. Because here's the thing, a regular job, They have a social delay. Okay, so it's going to be hard for them to socialize, hard for them to make friends. They also are somewhat slower in, regular tasks. Regular, not all tasks, but regular. Okay, it there it's just not fun, okay, being an autistic person with a job, all right? And it's really torture, and also it's going to stress out their employees too. Autism probably is the most interesting thing about him. Thank you, Chess. The autism I've encountered in the workplace, they had a hard time, but I always kind of knew and would help them out when they needed. Yes, so Rage, that is the thing. They do have programs where you can get a job and stuff, and that some companies, like, they do hire people, like grocery stores, like with autistic people, they're sort of required to, but it's only like 10% of the employees. It's lower even than that. There's usually only like 3 autistic people, 4 at most 10 in a grocery store. Okay, it personally, I don't even think they should even try to have it, because honestly, it does frustrate the employees and whatnot as well. Rage, I'm sure you had an experience like that, or RX and stuff. I'm sure you've gotten frustrated with an autistic person too. Look, all sympathy, okay? You should have sympathy for them, but honestly, bro, even if you do have sympathy for them, it's torture for them inside. I promise you, okay? Like, it's really hard having autism, having a job. So yeah. Hey guys, if you're new, click that like button and subscribe. Guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, or if you know someone with autism and so forth. Yes, I do have autism, Dominique. Guys, do you have a lot of friends? No, not really. I don't. I consider you guys my friends. 17 years ago, I got you. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe and come back to my lives if you know something about autism. Hey, man, I'm sorry. No, it's all good, Frankie. I appreciate you being here. Is your autism your entire personality? I wouldn't say so. Like, I'm able to develop, high functioning autistic people are able to develop their own personality, but no, I wouldn't say it's my whole personality. I have hobbies and whatnot stuff, but like I said, it's a developmental disorder. That means you're going to develop slower than everyone else. Okay, so I'm different in social norm things, if that makes sense, in normal things. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you click that like button and feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself, so yeah. Autism is curable? No, it's not. There hasn't been a cure for autism yet. That's just not true. Elon Musk is trying to do that, but it's probably going to take a long time with Neuralink, but there isn't a cure for autism. And to be honest with you guys, believe it or not, late diagnosis is very rare for boys with autism. There is such thing as late diagnosis, right? But it's only for women. And what autism in women is very different from autism in men. Very, very different. In fact, I looked at the statistics of autism, and in boys, usually people who are guys and stuff who have autism get diagnosed when they are young, in their adolescence. Okay, like, usually there's early signs of that. There's early signs of autism and stuff like that, and most boys get diagnosed in their adolescence. In fact, only 12 about I think I read only about 12%, 12.9%, I believe it was, of boys that have autism get late diagnosed. Only 12% of them get late diagnosed. For people with for girls with autism, that 80% of them get late diagnosed. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. In boys, it is very, very noticeable in adolescence. You can tell really when they're a kid. Usually, I have a boyfriend who has autism, and it's really, like, hard to communicate with him about some things, and I just don't know how to talk to him with him, and I just want to know I can do it effectively. Well, is he high functioning or low functioning? Meaning, is he verbal or nonverbal? I would say, probably just, try to go easy on him. Realize that he's probably not as social as everybody else and whatnot. That's a good question. I appreciate you, Change. I would say, in order to effectively communicate with him, maybe just to sort of go slow with him and whatnot, and also realize that he has a harder life than neurotypical people as well. So you got everything is 10 times stressful for him than it probably is for a neurotypical person and stuff. I really do promise that. So it if he gets upset, be sympathetic to him. Just really try to, just really try to recognize what makes him upset and whatnot. Okay. And also just try to Just be patient in those areas. Really, like I would write down a list of what he gets upset at if you are to have a hard time communicating with him, and I would write down also like how you find that the best way to communicate with him is and stuff. So yeah, that's my advice. Change. You should definitely subscribe. Come back to my lives again, guys. Interesting. I don't really have a love life, to be honest with you. Again, guys, thank you, guys. If you're new here, make sure you click that like button, subscribe, and come back on my lives. Again, guys, I'm someone who has autism, so if you guys want to know anything about autism or autistic people in general, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything. If you know someone who has autism or are autistic yourself and they're struggling with issues, feel free to say. Autistic people are usually very smart in one area. Josh, you are right. Yes, a lot of autistic people are very smart in one area for sure. It's very important to help people with autism about life skills, but they also need to be reminded the world will not stop turning. Yeah. So that's pretty scary to hear from me. I get what you're saying for sure. The world's not going to stop turning, but it's definitely going to turn slower for them. In normal areas and whatnot. I'm just being honest. I know I probably sound like an a-hole here, but I'm just like, I keep it in reality and stuff. I know that the facts about autism and the percentages of how much people or autistic people struggle with one thing and whatnot. So yes, they got to be reminded that the world is turning, but also you can't really do that often, I would say, because it's going to stress them the heck out, and they might experience an outburst. I get what you're saying though. Just have them focus on the areas there's good. You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, if you're new here, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Ask me anything about autism. Thank you, Ware. Guys, make sure you click that like button, subscribe if you're new. Feel free to do it. Do autistic people have a sense of humor? Yes. A lot of them have a very dark sense of humor. There's a lot of autistic people out there that have a very dark sense of humor and whatnot. And so keep that in mind as well. A lot of autistic people do have a dark sense of humor. Hey, Clark, thank you for the question. Definitely feel free to ask me more. Hey, Clark, you should definitely click that like button, subscribe. Autism, to me, what's up? The more you pressure someone with a neurological issues power, the harder it's going to be to help them make in the right decision. Exactly. Local is right. Exactly. So local is right. So local River is right. So if you pressure someone with autism a lot, their brain's going to contract. Okay. That's how I would describe it. Like imagine this is an autistic brain. The more pressure you put on them, the more like their brain's going to contract. That's not a literal sense. That's not in a literal sense, but that's what it feels like. Okay. And when that brain contracts, it could cause an outburst. All right. So keep that in mind. I'm telling you, please don't put too much pressure on them. Okay. Put some pressure. Okay. But not a lot, because it could go from 0 to 100 real quick. I'm telling you. So please be careful. And thank you, Local, for saying that. I really do appreciate that. Also, studies show that autism is an occasional mixed diagnosis, and in reality, it's a borderline personality disorder. No, it's not. It's not BPD, really. There's not. So, BPD and autism are actually very similar and stuff. They are very similar, except one doesn't have a developmental delay. So, BPD is not really a developmental disorder and stuff. It's more of like a personality disorder. Autism is a developmental disorder. And in fact, you'll see that a lot of BPD people and a lot of autistic people will make friends with each other because it's a very similar thing. Very similar. BPD people act kiddish sometimes, and also autistic people act kiddish sometimes and stuff. They both kind of have that in common and whatnot. That's why you'll see that connection there. Okay. And in fact, you also see a lot of relationships there as well, and with autistic people and BPD people, because they're very similar. It's a very similar thing, except one is less competent than the other, in all honesty, and stuff like. And in fact, be careful with this too. There's actually a study on this. In most BPD and autistic relationships, there's a thing where a BPD person can sometimes take advantage of a autistic person because of their lack of competency and stuff. Because they tend to be a little smarter than most autistic people and stuff, and not intentionally. It might not be intentionally, but also be aware of that as well. Okay, and also I would say that there's a lot more I could get into there, but I'm not going to do it yet. But just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Okay, guys, if you're new here, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. So feel free to ask me anything about autism. My son is autistic. Can't tell if he gets depressed. Well, I mean, what signs, Maria, do you feel does he have of depression? Unless my little sister has verbal autism. She's 8. That's awesome. Thank you so much for telling that your girl. Your girl should definitely click that like button, subscribe. Feel free to ask me any question if you want to know more about autism as well. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe and come back to my lives. And if you want, I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. A. Clark, I did answer one of your questions. I did. Thank you, Mari. Mari, you should definitely subscribe. Come back to my lives. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all, okay? Feel free to ask me anything about autism. Click that like button as well. Can autistic people get depressed? 100%. In fact, they're more prone to get depressed. I'm a good example and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's definitely easier to get depressed. Emotions are like times 10. So if an autistic person's depressed, they could really go into deep depression as well. So yeah, I mean, I've experienced that too. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. We're 2 likes away from 50 likes. Click that like button if you haven't already. And also, again, if you have any questions about autism, feel free to ask it. Any questions at all. I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask anything. And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I heard autistic people were highly attractive. Maybe they are, SS. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest. I too have autism. Caden, that's what's up. You should definitely click that like button and feel free to ask me anything you're struggling with as well. Again, guys, I am an autism advocate. I have autism myself. So if you want to learn more about autism or have any questions or curiosity about autism, feel free to ask me. Even if you know someone or you're autistic yourself, if you're struggling with something, I'll try to help you and so forth. And make sure to click that sub button as well. Okay, guys? Hey, guys. If you're new here, feel free to ask me anything about autism. My little sister has verbal autism, and sometimes she has tantrums, but like she gets frustrated and gets mad. She's 8. How do you think I should make her feel better whenever she is in a bad mood? Well, I mean, there's usually patterns, right? Like, for me, at least, I get mad at very specific things and stuff. And, you know, a good note to do is when communication isn't feeling heard by an autistic person, especially a high functioning autistic person, that's when you'll get outbursts. So let's say if a high functioning autistic person tells you again and again that something bothers them, and you keep on doing it and whatnot, not really paying attention to it, that's when you'll see anger kind of come out and whatnot, which makes sense. So if she's communicating with you what she doesn't like, try to fix that. Okay, try to fix that. Again, and you know, it really sucks because for low functioning autistic people, they're not able to communicate at all and whatnot. Usually people can't tell, but there's signs to look for, okay, with nonverbal autistic people. Like you can actually, you can see little things they get mad at and so forth, and you could try to fix it. I've seen people with low functioning autistic people, and it is very, very hard to deal with. But again, guys, please just look for signs. But if you have a high functioning autistic person who talks and whatnot and is verbal, try just, you know, asking them what makes them mad and stuff. They'll probably be communicative with you. Okay. Again, guys, if you're new here, I'm an autistic person, so feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. And feel free to click that like button as well. And again, guys, if you have autism or are curious about autism, I have autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. That's what this stream is about. Please careful with spam. I'll help all autism. That's what's up, Gage. I must be autistic. Why do you think you're autistic, A. Clark? And guys, feel free to ask me any questions. Any questions at all about autism. If you have autism yourself or so forth. I miss my autistic buddy. You have an autistic buddy? That's cool. Your girl, I did answer your question, by the way. I did answer your question. I hope it helped. I hope your help with your sister who's 8. So yeah. Again, guys, if you wants to know anything about autism at all, I have autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're just curious about it, or if you have autism too. And please watch the spam, guys. Watch the spam, please. What is autism? So autism is a developmental disorder. Autism is a developmental disorder. So what does that basically mean? It means you develop slower than everybody else. Now, there's 3 levels of autism: low functioning, high functioning, and then Asperger's. So we'll start with the low functioning. So a lot of people think that low functioning autism actually means that these are the verbal ones. Like, these are the verbal ones who are low functioning autistic, because it makes it sound like, oh, well, they're low in autism, when it's really the opposite. They're high in autism. So remember, low functioning low functioning autism means they're high in autism. So these are the nonverbal ones. These are the ones that, are making noises and so forth. High functioning autism are the ones with the least autism. Okay. And that means that they're able to communicate. They're able to develop a personality. They'll probably have speech delays, but they're still developmentally delayed. Okay. Asperger's is a form of autism, which basically means developmentally delayed in social areas and so forth. It's a form of autism, but it means that they are. It's used to identify people who are high IQ with autism. So these are like the Elon Musks and stuff like that. These are the geniuses with autism that you hear about. They have Asperger's, which is a form of autism, but it's not exactly high functioning or low functioning. It's Asperger's because they have IIQs. Okay, so just to let you know. All right. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, come back on my live and so forth. And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic for myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Jubs, I'm here to answer anything about autism at all. Feel free to ask me anything about your girl. Please stop spamming that. JB, please still don't spam. And guys, if you have any questions about autism, feel free to ask me anything at all. As a 14-year-old with autism, I find myself enjoying things like as Thomas the Tank Engine when I'm in middle school. Oh, you mean Thomas the Train? Thomas the Train, Bonnie, right? Are you talking about Thomas the Train, or am I totally wrong? You guys remember Thomas the Train? So yeah. Again, guys, so feel free, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all and so forth. And please stop with the spamming, guys. Please stop with the spamming. I will have to put you on timeout if you're spamming. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you guys are someone who's autistic or not autistic, who just has a question about autism, feel free to ask me anything. Or if you know someone with autism, or if you're a parent with someone who, with a son or daughter with autism, feel free to ask me questions too. JB, I'm going to have to mute you for 1 minute stuff because of the spamming. I'm sorry. Okay, so please do not do that and so forth. My little boy has a lot of autistic tics. I'm nervous to have him tested and give him a complex about it, since he is usually pretty sociable. Any books to read? Hey, the mighty, I know someone. My mom was in this position, okay? A lot of moms are in this position, okay? And or dads and whatnot. They're scared to get their son diagnosed with autism because it's a very scary thing, right? Honestly, knowing your son has autism is sort of very devastating for a parent, okay? It's very devastating, but you have to learn about them. So the mighty, I would discourage reading books and just really getting it over with, just, taking your son to the doctor and getting him tested and so forth. Because once you learn he has autism, you can look at books and whatnot and so forth, because he has autism, and you could work then and come back on the stream. So I appreciate the questions, the mighty. Feel free to ask me anything else, and make sure you click that like button and subscribe. What are your hobbies, like WWE, UFC, and other stuff? I understand I struggle with a learning disability from the 70s on. That's what's up, Mark. Mark, yeah, feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're struggling with it. Again, guys, if you have autism, or if you're someone who's just curious about autism, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything. These streams are to, basically, yeah, ask me anything about autism streams, so you could either, guys, learn more about it, learn what we struggle with, or are just curious about it and so forth, So, yeah. Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. What's up? Nah, how's it going? I can be, hey, proof. I appreciate that. I'll consider that later, but you should definitely click that like button, subscribe. Let's go. Nah, I appreciate that. Feel free to ask me anything about autism. Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything. So, how do I relate to my nephew with Down's? Well, I think Down syndrome is different. I actually don't know any really that much about Down syndrome. I think it is a different type of disorder, though. I'm not sure. It might not be, but I just really know about autism. So, maybe I'll get educated on it. But yeah, I would never be someone with BPD. Yeah, Corbin. Yeah, I get that. And guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe. Again, guys, I'm a person with autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you have any questions or so forth. How do you reset during overwhelming moments? I'm in stress-heavy industry, and I have been for years. I recently started taking my breaks without feeling guilt, but I can't figure out how to mentally. Okay. All right, so here, I would say get a fidget for sure. I know that's like a pathetic saying, but get a fidget. I would say if you have autism, I'm assuming you do have autism, Mars, since you asked that question. And also, take breaks. Yeah, learn how to deep breathe as well. Deep breathing is good. I know it sounds kind of kiddish and whatnot, but you got to put yourself first, and you got to take care of yourself. All right. And yes, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. Sir, I'm back and I need advice. Donnie, feel free to ask again, guys. I do recognize a lot of people who come back. So if you're new here, definitely click that subscribe button and also feel free to come back on my lives. I also do other live streams as well. And if you really want to support, click that notification bell too. How you do that is you go to my profile, you click the notification bell, and then you click all. That way you know when I go live. So that really would mean a lot. Can autism increase or decrease creative aptitude? It could increase it for sure. It could increase it for sure, actually. Um, I haven't felt really that creative lately. But yeah, it can increase it for sure. Corbin, I appreciate the question. Feel free to ask me any more. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe. How do nonverbal autistics how do nonverbal autistics know if they're depressed? How do they know they're depressed, or how do you tell if they're depressed? A Clark. So how do they know they're depressed? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I'm assuming they have something in their brain that tells them. But if you're talking about how do you tell if they're depressed, probably just, with outburst or, crying or so forth and whatnot. ADHD is not the same as autism, guys. Wait, was your answer to the question? I answered it, so feel free to ask me it again. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you click that like button, subscribe. I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Whether you know someone with autism, or if you're a parent with someone with autism, how to deal, with them or something like that, or curious about, struggles they deal with, or if you know someone and if you're autistic as well. So, yeah. How does cannabis affect autism? That's a good question. All right, so yeah, there have been studies on people who take cannabis with autism. And to be honest with you, it is sort of dangerous, okay? Because on one hand, cannabis or THC or marijuana can help people with autism with make them more neurotypical, right? Basically ease the effects or ease the side effects of autism or the diagnosis of autism, ease it, okay? But unfortunately, with THC as well, is that it is much easier with autism to develop psychosis. All right, much easier. All right, that means you're going to be seeing things and so forth. So it is kind of dangerous for someone with autism to be taking cannabis as well, because it could develop psychosis too. Okay, so there's studies done as this as well, but it does ease symptoms of autism. However, you also see a lot of autistic people drinking. Okay. And drinking can be a powerful tool for someone with autism, by the way. Only do it if you're over 21 and stuff, obviously. The reason why is because drinking makes you more social. It makes you more social. alcoholic drinks make you more social, okay? And it could be a very good tool for introverts and people with autism since they have a social delay, okay? And obviously, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because you could also see very easily autistic people getting addicted to drinking as well, okay? But it could be a good tool in moderation, all right? It could be a good tool in moderation. All right, guys, click that like button and subscribe if you're new. Also, feel free to ask me anything about autism if you want to. I have autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything. Got you. I need advice, Donnie. What do you need advice for autism? As someone who is autistic, I hate how everyone thinks I'm trying to act I'm smarter than everyone just because of the way I speak. Yeah, I get that, Greg. Greg, I don't know if you have Asperger's or high functioning autism, but yeah, some people consider me a smart ass too and stuff, or a smart person or trying to be smart. I see what you're saying, but to be honest with you, that's a part of autism as well. You know, autistic people are very detail oriented. Autistic people are very detail oriented, and also, you know, who cares? You know, if they think you sound smart, then you know that's their problem, whatnot. You know what I mean? If they're gonna get mad at you for literally describing yourself eloquently, what's the word, eloquently, or something, or thoughtfully, then that's their problem, Greg. And you know, honestly, if they're giving you trouble for that, don't even hang out with them because that's wrong. That's wrong, I believe. Just because you talk in a smart way, that doesn't mean that you're trying to be an a-hole or so forth, you know? So, yeah. And guys, if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe, click that like button as well, and feel free to ask me anything about autism. What's up, The Keeper? How's it going, The Keeper? How you doing? And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself and so forth, so yeah. Feel free to ask me anything, or if you know someone with autism. You know someone with autism as well. Why does high functioning autism have so many why does high functioning autism have so many trans? Yeah, so this is another thing as well. And by the way, guys, I do tend to lean on the Republican side. I know a lot of autistic people don't, but please separate the two, okay? I'm here just to talk about autism on these streams, all right? So just keep that in mind. But there actually is a study as well that the estimated amount of autistic people mostly are going to lean Democrat side. And there's a reason for that. There's clear reasons for that, you know, because there's a lot of programs on the Democrat side that people want to provide with people with autism. And that's understandable, okay? And so I would assume that's why they have a lot of trans. You know, like I said, I'm going to say nothing wrong with it if you're autistic, but, you know, I don't think it's healthy, but it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm not going to really judge and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Does autism make you gay? I don't know if that's a joke question, but maybe. I don't know. Why wouldn't a nonverbal autistic child get real emotion and start crying? Happens five times a year. Thank you. Why would a nonverbal one? Well, it's because they're stressed and they can't communicate their emotions. You got to understand, it's more common for low-functioning autistic people to have outbursts and stuff because they can't communicate their emotions. They can't talk to you and stuff. And imagine it really is hard for someone who's low-functioning autistic because they can't communicate their emotions without like doing an outburst. High-functioning autistic people can. Low-functioning autistic people can't. So that is why and stuff. And I would just try to like learn the things that you see they outburst too and so forth. Sweet Kate, I appreciate you asking that question. Definitely click that like button and subscribe as well. Again, guys, if you're new here, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. At all whatsoever, if you're curious about it or if you know someone who's autistic too. I'm sorry, most of the people are uneducated. Yes, I agree, Danny. Well, not most people, but some. Hey, guys, I'm very sensitive. I'm really sensitive and aware, and I have really sensitive hearing. Like if a car honks, it's like yeah, I get that, Christmas. Yeah, so Christmas, yeah, very common with autism too. Very sensitive to noise, autistic people are, you know, me, myself included. So what I would say, a recommendation is to get earplugs. Earplugs would be a good thing, or get headphones preferably, right? Headphones and stuff, just listen to music and so forth, or keep them in your ears. They actually have noise canceling ones that you don't really have to, turn off, really. They have really good ones, really good noise canceling headphones, and you could keep them on or so forth. So I would recommend that. Some of them can be expensive, but I would recommend maybe asking it for Christmas, like your name implies, and so forth. So yeah, does Tylenol give you autism? So no, it does not. Well, there's a link to it. Okay, so Donald Trump came out here and said that there's a link between Tylenol and autism, which there is. They actually did find a link. However, it is not the sole cause of autism. Okay, there is a link though, and what Donald Trump was saying is what he meant to say. Because he really obviously isn't educated on this stuff. He just has a smart cabinet, Dr. Oz, RFK Jr. So really, what they were saying, and you could confirm this when Donald Trump asked Dr. Oz to speak and stuff, is that really there's a link. There's a link between Tylenol and autism. Nothing more than a link. Okay, it's not to say if you take Tylenol like the world's over, but you should be careful in taking it if you are pregnant. Okay, so yeah, they discovered there's a link. It's not the sole cause of autism though. Donald Trump, said that, and I think that's what he thought and whatnot, but it's not the case. All right, so yeah, just to let you know, there is a link though, okay, but it's not the full link. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, again, if you're new here, feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. So yeah, it's not a form of autism. They changed it. They did change it, but they shouldn't have. That's for sure. Feel free to ask me anything about autism. I am autistic myself, so feel free to uh, ask me about autism. Yeah, Asperger's is not used as a classification anymore. Yeah, so that in my opinion they shouldn't have gotten rid of. If you, in fact, if you guys know who Dr. Temple Grandin is, Dr. Temple Grandin is someone with Asperger's who has autism herself, and she talked about this. She's very popular. She's the one who's like genius with animals. You'll probably have heard of her if you look up Temple Grandin. You'll see and stuff. You probably have heard of her most likely. Okay, she has multiple books as well. Okay, and she invented a new way for animals not to feel pain when they're getting slaughtered and whatnot, for them not to feel pain. So she did a good thing and so forth. And she has Asperger's herself, and multiple autism experts have, stated that it wasn't a good idea to get rid of the term Asperger's because, again, originally Asperger's was meant to identify people who have autism with high IQs, okay? And they shouldn't have gotten rid of that, all right? So that is why I keep Asperger's in there, because a doctor will also tell you either Asperger's, will let you know if you have Asperger's too. I know they got rid of the classification, which is weird, so yeah. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you click that like button. We're one more like away from 75 likes, so make sure you guys click that like button and subscribe, and feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. Nope, just because you're autistic doesn't mean you're a genius. Quite the opposite. Like you said, it's a learning disability. Exactly, David. So yeah, the geniuses you hear that have autism have Asperger's actually, which is a form of autism. Okay, so those are going to be the Elon Musks, the Albert Einsteins, or whoever is claimed to be autistic. That's like claimed to be a super genius. I just want to let you know, like, I know it's fun to say, like, oh, if you have autism, you're like a genius, and you can be genius in one area. It's just that with high functioning autism instead of Asperger's, if you have high functioning autism, you're likely and probably not going to be genius in a educational subject, not science or so forth. Okay, it's not likely because literally these type of people who are like autistic engineers or something like that, they're smart educationally. So, and you'll find that out. Autistic people are going to learn that on their own. I did, okay? I used to be saying, people used to tell me like, oh, like, you have autism, so, you could be like, extraordinary smart, you could be a genius. And I learned that, that's actually not the case, because high functioning autistic people actually have like a lower IQ, a little bit lower of IQ than average, or barely, like 90, we'll say, okay, 90 IQ, okay, around there. And but that doesn't mean you can't still be good in areas, okay? Like for me, I love WWE and I love UFC. Those are my two main things, was MMA and so forth, okay? So the thing is that it's almost impossible for a high functioning autistic person, given that type of IQ, to be like genius in an educational subject. Okay, that's not to say that they can't be genius in other subjects. Okay, but it's nearly impossible. All right, so just so you know, all right, it's a good thing to know. You know what I'm saying? Are you first generation of being in the spectrum and family? Yes, silly, I am. Silly, you should definitely click that like button and subscribe. Hey guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe too. And feel free to ask me anything about Autism, and make sure you guys click that like button as well. What's up, chickens? And guys, we're 2 likes away from 80 likes, 2 likes away, so make sure you click that like button. Again, Ryan, click that like button as well. Do you have any ideas on how to encourage verbal responses in autistic children? I have a 3-year-old grandchild that is nonverbal at this point. Well, I would say try to read them books. You know, I know they have developmental books and so forth. And also look up autistic products, okay? They have autistic products too. Like if you look on Amazon, they have a lot of products with, specifically designed for autistic people, including books and so forth, all right? So look those up, all right, Mel, and try to get them that, so forth, and try to teach them, all right? Mel, I really do appreciate that question. Feel free to ask me anything else. I'm here for you. Thank you, Mel, so much. Mel, definitely click that like button and subscribe. Please define autism. So autism is a developmental disorder in simple terms. Simple terms. It gets more complicated, but autism itself just simply means a developmental disorder. And what it means simply in simple terms is that you're going to develop slower than everyone else. So if you know someone with autism, they're likely to develop slower than everyone else in normal ways. Okay? So that's essentially what it means. 616. 616, thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much for that question. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Anything about autism. Hey guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and come back in my lives. If you have any questions about autism, feel free to ask it and so forth. Can I talk about BPD and autism more deathly? So it would be interesting. Yeah, so yeah, I will go ahead and talk the relation between BPD and autism, okay? Again, guys, like I said earlier, BPD and autism are very, very similar, okay? The only difference is the IQ wise, all right? BPD people are not going to have a developmental delay. They're going to be like average IQ or even maybe a little bit above average. The issue, basically, the only difference with autism is they have less of an IQ, or they're develop little slower than everyone else, unlike someone with BPD. Okay. And they're very similar, though. Okay, both of them can act kiddish at times, have outbursts, and so forth. They are very, very similar. All right, but they are not the same thing. But you'll see a lot of BPD people and autistic people making friends with each other because they connect in that way. Okay, and so that's. I feel like that's as more depth as I could go. But I will say this again: you'll see a lot of them making friends, but I would be careful too as well because I don't know, just. For those of you who are autistic, I don't know if some of you are autistic on here, but be careful with a BPD person, all right? Be careful because a lot of them, like, there's actually, something on this. A BPD person and when an autistic and BPD person are together and stuff, the BPD person can naturally tend to take advantage of them since they are slower in that developmental delay, okay? I'm not saying it's on purpose, all right, but just be careful with that, all right? So I'm just saying, all right, just be careful. Again, guys, if you're new here, how do you handle multiple people talking to you? Age 7, that's a good question. I would just, breathe and stuff and maybe ask like, hey, one person at a time. You know what I mean? Let's tell them one person at a time, age 7. That's how I would say. Age 7, I really do appreciate that question. Make sure to click that like button and subscribe as well. Has it affected your life? Yes, it has affected my life in many, many ways. Good ways, bad ways, mostly bad ways. But yeah, it has affected my life, Noah. Noah, thank you so much for that question. Feel free to ask me anything else. Noah, you should definitely click that like button and subscribe too. Moderator, is a mod here, by the way? Is a mod here or no? Hi, what's up, Skimbo? How's it going? No, this is not pre-recorded. So, guys, I'm scrolling through the chats. All right? So just be patient. I will get to your question eventually. Okay. All right? So yeah, I also have autism, long hair like you. And that's what's up. Pichu, definitely subscribe and come back on my lives. That's what's up. You have autism yourself. That's what's up, Ian. Again, guys, if you're new here, click that like button. THC is bad news. People should stay away from it. Annabelle, welcome back here. Yeah, there are some positive effects and bad effects with people with autism on it and stuff. It is easy to develop psychosis with autism though if you do THC. So be careful of that, and yeah, really think about that, bro, because it's not fun, you know. So yeah, there's a higher, way higher likelihood of people who are autistic when they try THC to develop psychosis. So definitely be be careful. Weed includes psychosis is real. Some people claim it's not. Yeah, it is. It is definitely real, especially with autistic people for sure. Cannabis is essentially a psychedelic. Okay, it's essentially a psychedelic, and autistic people don't really tend to handle it well, and it could be as well. And guys, if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe and come back to my lives. I started doing nicotine because I claimed because you claimed it my autism. But wait, so are you diagnosed H7 or are you not officially diagnosed yet? And guys, if you're new here, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Guys, we're 5 likes away from 90 likes. So if you haven't clicked that like button already, definitely click it right now and so forth. I appreciate you guys being here. And yeah. And feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you know anyone who's autistic or you're just curious about autistic people, feel free to ask me anything about autism. Again, guys, feel free to ask me if you know someone or anything like that. I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything. Feel free to ask him. Let's go, Annabelle. Let's go. Annabelle, I really do appreciate you for real, for real. Thank you for the hair comment. I appreciate you. Has anyone found it funny that autism and ADHD share so much coping mechanisms, yet it brings them so different from each other? Millen, I have realized that. I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. Millen, you should definitely subscribe too and click that like button too as well. Everyone claiming autism nowadays. Yeah, so here's the thing. Yeah, guys, it is an issue. A lot of people are claiming autism who don't officially have autism, and people need to who are autistic or who claim they're autistic need to actually get diagnosed. Okay, so if you think you have autism, that doesn't mean you have autism. You got to get diagnosed by a doctor, evaluated by a doctor as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. Keep that in mind. I have autism, but I don't know much about it. Well, feel free to ask anything about it. Cookie, I appreciate you being on here. What's up, Haven? How's it going? How's it going, Haven? Again, guys, I'm scrolling through the chat, so I'm trying to get every question, all right? So if I haven't answered your question yet, just stay on here. I'll get to it, all right? So again, guys, if you're new here, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all whatsoever. If you have it, if you don't have it, if you know someone who has it or so forth, so feel free to ask me anything. I have autism myself, and I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to click that like button and subscribe as well. Subscribe as well. What link, dude? What am I watching? What do you mean, H7? What do you mean by that? Yo, what's up, guys? Yes, Elon Musk does have Asperger's. Guys, please don't spam the same question, okay, over and over again. Please don't do that. All right? My wife told me I have autism. My daughter is going to be tested in 4 months because she's behind in speech. Is it worth it for me to get tested as an adult? Yes, it is worth it. Okay, it definitely is. All right, because honestly, you should know if you have autism or not. Because the truth of the matter is, if you do know, it's going to help you so you could learn about yourself in the future. And I guess basically live your life in a more sensible way. You know, take things a little bit slower and so forth. So, Demon, you should definitely do that, Demon, and also click that like button, and subscribe. Feel free to ask me any question at all. I've worked in hospitals with many autistic patients. Those kids could not control those behavior. I agree. Maxie, I'm getting tested for autism. Are you? You're doing it right now? Is that true, or is that a lie, Haven? Haven, welcome back, by the way. Got you, got you. I believe autism is a evolutionary trait. So one day, I think the world will be autistic. The whole world will be autistic. I don't know. I don't know about that, but good theory. Good theory. Again, guys, please don't spam the same question. Hey, Haven, what's up? How's it going? Hey, guys, I will get to your questions again. Feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself, so feel free to ask me anything. Do you know anything about bipolar? Yeah, I know some things about bipolar, but I really want to keep it autistic related, Rich Evans. So I appreciate you saying that, but also just make sure to try to keep it autism. Ask me anything about autism, Rich Evans. You're totally good, but just keep it, about autism. That Haven, you're getting tested in the next few weeks. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. You should. You should. Hey guys, I will get to your questions, so please don't spam and so forth. Are you high functioning? Yes, I am high functioning autistic. Yes. Why is autism? I don't know. That's a question to be discovered, or the answer to be discovered. Haven, I got you. I see you. I see you. And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. I think I had BBD instead of autism. Then good. Thank you for saying that. That's great, Veronica. Veronica, you should definitely click that like button, subscribe, come back, and feel free to ask me anything about autism. What were the signs you could have be autistic? So usually like outbursts and stuff. Maybe like this is gonna sound bad. Like maybe hitting the head, hitting yourself, or something like that. Having outbursts, thrashing as a kid as well is one, or just oddities in general. So that could be a sign that you have autism as a kid, and as a sign as an adult, the problem is that most boys who have autism don't actually get late diagnosed. Like it's actually very rare for guys to get late diagnosed. It is surprisingly rare for women to get late diagnosed though, because remember, autistic women who have autism and stuff are very different from men who have autism. Okay, they act in very different ways, mainly because men have more testosterone, obviously, and that's one of the main reasons why, and so forth. So remember that. And also, I see that women with autism seem to be like much more functioning for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah. Hey, Eds, what's up? How's it going? How's it going? Trump helped fast with autism. Yes, he did. He did. Let's go, Cecil. Cecil, you should definitely subscribe and come back to my lives. Again, feel free to ask me anything about autism. Cookie, please don't spam questions. Cookie, please don't spam questions. BBD has nothing to do with genes. It's an upbringing. Yes, you're right. You're right with that, Million. You're right. It does. It does have to do with upbringing. Yeah, autism you're pretty much born with. Haven, can you please chill on the makes these things and stuff? And just ask questions? What's up, Haven? Again, guys, feel free to... What's up, Freedom? How's it going? Freedom forever. Definitely click that like button, subscribe. Guys, we are 3 likes away from 95 likes. If you haven't clicked that like button, make sure you do. And also click that sub button. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, anything you want to know. Or if you know something about autism, if you're just curious about it, okay? I'm here to help you guys. What are the symptoms of autism? Do you have all the textbook signs of autism, or just do you have some? That I can only tell you as a kid what the early signs are, okay? That's what I could tell you when. I appreciate you asking, but like textbook signs of autism is I guess staying stuck on something, like being mad at something and stuff, staying stuck on one thing or so forth, not forgetting about something. Or another issue and stuff with autism is change. A lot of autistic people have a very, very hard time with change, more than most and stuff. Because when an autistic person gets into a routine and whatnot, they if someone changes it, it could be very traumatizing with them and it could cause an outburst as well. Okay, guys? So yeah. What is this live about? It's about autism. So again, guys, I have autism. If you're curious about autistic people or want to know more about it, feel free to ask anything about questions. I'm an autistic person, so feel free to ask me any questions at all if you have any questions as well. Click that like button and sub as well. We're 5 likes away from 100 likes, guys, so let's see if we can get there as well. Cookie, I already answered your question. Oh, I have autism. Kazku, that's awesome. Kazu, feel free to ask me anything. Autistic people. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. There's a lot of people who develop fake. Well, here's the thing. It's if you're diagnosed, you definitely have it. Okay, like there is a self-diagnosis issue for sure, and that's why I tell people you don't have autism unless you get diagnosed. So you have to, if you think you have autism, you got to get diagnosed first. Okay, go to a doctor, take the test, and so forth. There's very clear signs. All right, but I agree, we do have a self-diagnosis issue and so forth. Monks, you should definitely subscribe, guys. This is my cat. Click the sub button, like button for Zoinky. This is my cat. His name is Zoinky and whatnot. So click that like button and sub button for Zoinky. And guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all and so forth. Do you think autism is a form of evolution, like per-socket advantage to a sensory perception? I'm not sure, fruits, but thank you for the question. I'm not sure, honestly. That's a good question. I might have to look that up more, fruits. I appreciate that. Feel free to ask me anything else. Again, guys, if you know someone who's autistic or you want to learn more about autistic people, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything about autism and chill with the spamming. Jesus, please. Hey guys, if you have any questions about autism, let me know. We're 4 likes away from 100, guys. I have autism, so feel free to, for those of you who are new, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I know a lot about autism and so forth, so if you know someone with autism or want to learn more about autism, let me know. Want to learn about it? I am autistic. Justin, are you autistic? I don't know. You said a question mark. I'm very confused about the autistic thing. I think you have a really awesome way going in your head. I saw one of those on Amazon. Yes, there's a lot of autistic products on Amazon. So if you want to help your son with autism or if you know someone with autism who's a kid, definitely try to help their mothers, get products that are designed for people with autism to help them, develop slightly faster. Do you have autism? Yes. Do I don't know. I don't diagnose people, guys. You guys got to get diagnosed by a doctor. Okay. So please don't be asking me if you have autism because I don't know. You got to get diagnosed first. All right. What is a symptom? As a kid, outbursts probably, welder and stuff, outbursts. I sub. Do you also think Tylenol is linked to the autism thing is BS? So, like I said about the Tylenol thing, they did find a link, okay? Trump said that it's the sole cause of autism. That's not what he meant to say, I believe. If you really look at the whole speech and stuff, they had Dr. Oz talk after him, and he confirmed it's just a link. Okay, it's not the sole cause of autism. It's just a link that they found. But yes, there is a link between it. It's not the sole cause for sure, but they did find a link. Yes, they did. So So yeah. Hey guys, make sure you guys click the like button and also subscribe if you're new. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. Feel free to ask me anything autism as well. Feel free to ask me anything. Ask me anything at all. My friend had 7-year-old. Wait, is 7-year-old? She says she's autistic, but I think he's just an iPad kid. She gave him one for. Well, I mean, if he's saying he's autistic, did he get diagnosed, Robley? Did he get diagnosed? If he got diagnosed, and or if she got diagnosed, she's probably autistic. Okay. And honestly, most kids are iPad kids these days, so keep that in mind. Again, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I have autism myself. Guys, we're 3 likes away from 100 likes. 3 likes away from 100 likes. So if you haven't clicked that like button already, definitely click that like button and subscribe. Again, guys, I have autism, so if you want to know anything about autism, if you know someone with autism or just curious about it, ask me anything about autism. Ask me anything about autism at all. That's what this stream is about, and so forth, all right? Hey, guys, so feel free, all right? What's up, Elizabeth? How's it going? Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. At what age did your parents tell you have autism? Well, a doctor told me, right? Like I went to the doctor when I was about 8. I got diagnosed, got evaluated, and so forth. And yeah, I found I was an autistic, and it was devastating for my mom as well. So yeah, guys, we reached 100 likes. Let's go, guys. Make sure to click that like button again. Let's see if we can get 105. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. I'm autistic myself, so if you're curious about autism, this is what this live is about, to educate people who don't know that much about autism, or to help people who do have it. Okay. Do you have tics that come along with your autism? Do I have tics that come along with my autism? Bumpfuzo, I thank you for the question. Yes, I do have tics. Sometimes I flap and stuff like that, or pace and whatnot. I pace back and forth, and I also do pace back and forth and flap my arms and so forth. And a lot of autistic people do that, and it's because it's a sign of excitement, you know. Do you think it's easier for people with high functioning autism to tell someone if someone isn't authentic? What do you mean by that? Isn't authentic, like, you know, as a person? No, and if anything, I think it's harder because autistic people are very gullible as well. If you don't know, autistic people are pretty gullible too. So yeah, remember that. Remember that as well. They are pretty gullible. So yeah, that is a thing with autism as well. So me as well. So yeah, so high functioning. My niece is autistic. She's my nephew now. Moo, thank you for sharing that. Set. Moo, if you are a Mo, feel free to ask me anything about autism, or if you want to get to know, if you want to get to know about our autism more, ask me anything about it. How's it going, guys? Guys, again, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you have a question about autism or at all. Okay, what type of autism do you have? I have high functioning autism. So again, there's low functioning autism, which is non-verbal, high functioning autism, which is verbal and, you know, sociable kind of, and Asperger's. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I don't know whatsoever if you have a question. What level autism? I have high functioning. Polo, where? And guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and come back in my lives for sure. Well, I did answer your question. Yes, Lay. Thank you so much for saying that, Lay. Lay, thank you so much for saying that. Click that like button and subscribe for sure. Click that like button and subscribe for sure. Mm-mm. Again, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I'm autistic myself. Make sure you click that like button as well if you're new here too. Again, guys, this live is meant to educate people about autism, or to help people who know someone who has autism, or help people who do have autism. So feel free to ask me anything at all, what you struggle with, and so forth. I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Thank you, Lay, for sharing that. Lay, welcome. Welcome, by the way. I hope you do like, and I hope you do sub, because I think this channel could be great for you and so forth. And you could ask any questions you struggle with and whatnot, Lay. I really do appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. I do that with my rabbit. I do have autism. Oh, you have a rabbit that's cute. Polo Wear, definitely subscribe too. I like your name, by the way. I really, really do. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm an autism advocate, and I do have it myself. So if you want to learn more about autism, or if you know someone with autism, or more importantly, if you're a parent with someone with autism, feel free to ask any questions if you want to learn more, and if you're someone who's autistic themselves too. And make sure you click that sub button as well. And guys, feel free to ask me anything as well, and so forth. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button and sub. If you do have autism, feel free to ask me about any issues you deal with, or share, or whatnot, and so forth. And yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? Make sure to click that like button. Oh no! Sorry about that, guys. My cat just walked on my desk. My apologies. Hey guys, I'm someone who's autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. We're 4 more likes away from 110 likes, so if you haven't liked already, definitely click that like button as well. Thank you, Kosu. I really do appreciate that. Really do appreciate. Makes you try. It's a prescription vitamin for autism. Thank you for saying that, Hans. I'll look into it. Thank you, Hans. Hans, I really do appreciate you being here as well, for real. Again, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I have autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all whatsoever. We're 4 likes away from 110 likes, so make sure you click that like button too. That's info I heard on that. Thank you, Miki. I appreciate that. Miki, yeah, feel free to ask me any more questions. Feel free to ask me any more questions as well, and so forth. And guys, if you're new here, make sure you click that like button and subscribe as well. And feel free to ask me anything about autism. Why are autistic people subschooled to trans ideology? Yeah, so I got this question earlier. So someone told me, like, why are a lot of autistic people trans and stuff? And if you actually look at this, if you look it up, it's estimated that more autistic people lean with the Democrat side, which makes sense, because really the Democrat side is wants to help autistic people, get more programs and so forth. It makes sense. Okay, so that could be a reason why. I lean more Republican, me personally, but I'm not here to shit on people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get it. It's understandable. So Mo, that could be the reason. All right, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I have autism myself, so ask me anything about autism if you want to learn more. If you know someone with autism too. What's up, King? Make sure you click that like button also, and so forth. It makes, please moderate. I'll get to it. I'm really just ignoring for now. It's okay. It's all right. All right, guys. Hey, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism too. Rusty, please chill out. It's okay. It's all right. They could stay there if they want and so forth. Maybe actually I am gonna start spamming, stop people spamming. So you guys if you guys don't want to be here, please get off. Please just go if you don't want to be here. This is for educating people on autism and wanting to know more about autism. So feel free to ask any questions. But if you guys are gonna spam, I'm going to have to mute you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to mute you and so forth. I don't want to. I really don't. Feel free to stay on here. You could talk shite if you want. Okay, you could talk shite if you want, but just don't spam it, please. I'm going to have to mute you because it takes over the chat and it helps. It doesn't do good for other people trying to actually learn and whatnot. So yeah. Hamas, I'm actually gonna have to put you on timeout and stuff. I don't. I don't know what you mean by that, but it's okay. I'm going to put you on timeout for 5 minutes though. But please, if you do want to come back, just please be respectful, okay? Please be respectful and don't spam. More importantly, all right. Again, guys, if you're new here, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you want to learn more about autism, or if you know someone with autism, or if you're autistic yourself and you want to tell me stuff you struggle with, or want tips or tricks and stuff like that, or want to know how to get along with someone with autism, feel free to ask. And make sure to click that like button as well. Okay? Thank you so much. Are you autistic and gay? No, I'm not. I'm not gay. Hey guys, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I love my niece, but I hate that she's my nephew. It seems cruel. Well, is it because she gives you a hard time because she's autistic? Is what you mean? My mom thinks I have autism. Well, you should definitely ask your mom to get tested. And Robin, if your mom's telling you that, you should definitely go to the doctor and make sure you get diagnosed first. Okay? You're gonna want to know that, and feel free to ask your mom. Hey, like mom, shouldn't we go to the doctor? Encourage your mom to go to the doctor and actually get properly diagnosed. They have a test and everything. So that way you know for sure you have autism, okay? And feel free to ask me any questions about autism, all right? I'm autistic, and these are all things I have as well. Yes, Lay, exactly. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I would rather have autism than be infected by the deadly woke mind virus. I got you. Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism too. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to mute anyone who spams, all right? Spams anything. Again, I don't mind you guys. If you guys want to talk crap, I wouldn't recommend being here. But if you just don't spam it, okay? Because the spam takes up the chat. All right, I'm just telling you. All right. What's up, guys? What's up, Bella? How's it going, Bella? Feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. Thank you, Lay. Lay, thank you for saying that. All right. I have high functioning autism, Miggy. So yeah. And guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and come back on my lives if you're new here and so forth. Do you support the LGBTQ? I'm fine with the LGBTQ community. I'm fine with it. Just not the T part, really, but it's okay. What severity autism do you have? I have high functioning autism, so that means I'm verbal and so forth. I love my cat. What's up? Thank you so much. I love. Definitely subscribe and click that like button as well. And come back to my lives. I really do appreciate the people who click that like button and subscribe. Really do. Would an autism sufferer think? Would an autism sufferer think Asperger? I don't know. Well, I don't know what you're trying to ask, but please ask it again. Will you answer my question? I did, guys. Again, I'm scrolling through the questions. All right. So if you're gonna ask a question, just be patient. All right. I'm scrolling through the questions. All right. So when I say ask me any question, I'll get to your question. Just please be patient and stay on and so forth. All right. I'm trying to get to every question. All right. So, got you. All right, guys. If you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe and come back to my lives again. If you want to know about autism, I'm autistic myself, so feel free to ask any questions if you know someone with autism or if you just want to learn more or are curious about it, and also if you're autistic yourself, all right? So, yeah, I appreciate you guys who are here. I really, really do, and so forth. Mixie, if you want the chat to clean up Blue Meat for 15 minutes, yeah, I should probably put them on timeout for 15 minutes for sure. For sure. So next time I will do that, okay? So the Tylenol is complete nonsense. Yeah, so the Tylenol thing, they did find a link. It's a very subtle link, though. It's not the full cause of autism. Trump did say it's the cause of autism. He wasn't really, but he wasn't the one doing the test, okay? So he misspoke, all right? It really the ones looking at the link was Dr. Oz and RFK Jr., okay? So Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. did that study and so forth. And they did find some sort of link, but it's not the sole cause of autism, just so you know. Millen is right. Exactly. I'm wondering if my son has autism and he melts down crowds when he's overwhelmed. Just me. You should definitely try to go to the doctor and get him diagnosed so you actually know if he has autism or not. Thank you so much for sharing that, because that's what I love. I love, people who come on here and ask me if they have, if you think their kid has autism, but make sure, I always say, you got to go to the doctor and get them diagnosed first, because that way you actually know if they do have autism, you know what to do next. All right, you know how to get them help and whatnot, whether that's through behavioral therapy, or other ways. And feel free to ask me anything about autism, just me, if you want. You want? Okay. And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism, guys. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe as well. What is autistic? Thank you, Supreme. Thank you, Super. I do appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you do want to talk shite and stuff, just leave it. All right. I'm trying to be on this live to actually educate people with autism and also, help people and so forth as well. Again, guys, I did get diagnosed when I was 8, so I really don't know what you're trying to say. I've been struggling with it my whole life and so forth. So if you don't like the stream, just leave. Just please leave. Honestly, please just leave. I appreciate you guys so much who are staying on here, being kind and nice. Thank you so much. All right. I appreciate you, Super. By the way, I appreciate really do. And click that like button, subscribe if you're new for sure. Hey guys, if you're new here, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism, guys. Okay. Feel free to ask me anything autism at all whatsoever. Again, guys, what's up, SSS? How's it going? Make sure to click that like button. Please, can you block? I'll get that. Lay, I'm so sorry. I know you've asked me multiple times. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. I will eventually. Okay. I just want. I don't know. I don't know how to react to this. Honestly, I don't know how to react to people, just commenting these type of things because on one hand, I want to feel them. They could be allowed to be here. Like I don't really care if they, have certain opinions. I want to let them know that as well and so forth. And also, that's the main reason, like. And yeah, guys, just leave. And I also want them to get a chance to take, and I want them to get a chance to change their view if they actually do have a question. But I feel like, yeah, I have given them too much chance. Again, guys, I'm an autistic person, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're curious about anything and so forth. So, yeah, feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. This is an autism stream. This is an autism stream. So if you're curious about anyone who's autistic, or if you know anyone who's autistic, please feel free to click that like button, sub, and ask me anything at all. Anything question you have about autism. Ask how to get along with someone with autism or so forth. Questions like that, all right? Or if you have autism yourself. This is up, Day. Thank you for saying, guys. And if you guys are diagnosed, feel free to say something as well. Why do autistic people like Trump? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know. That's more of an opinion thing, to be honest with you. That has nothing to do with autism. That's more of a political side thing. You know what I'm saying? Should autistic people be allowed to vote? Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. What are some tips you have for overstimulation, crowded room that you can't leave? Okay, well, breathe, right? Breathe, and also try to take a walk away, or get a fidget. More importantly, Magus, get a fidget for sure. They have a bunch of autistic fidgets online. It might seem a little kiddish, but look for fidgets on Amazon or something because it really, really does help with autism. It really, really does. Having like a fidget, like having something tactile, like even a pen with a rubber thing like this, feeling something tactile, really, really does help, Magus. So I hope I did help with that answer, Magus. And feel free to ask anything else, and definitely click that like button too. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Exactly. There's 3 autistic people in my family. One of them is my husband's side, and side all Republicans. Yeah. So yeah, the political thing and stuff, whether you're for Trump or not, or Republican or Democrat, really that's more of an opinion thing. Okay. So just to let you know. All right. So that really has nothing to do with politics. All right, guys. So please keep politics out of it. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Hey guys, feel free to subscribe and come back to my lives. Click that like button too. We're 3 more likes away from 120 likes. So feel free to click that like button. And if you haven't already, we're 3 more likes. Let's go. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Who are you talking about exactly? Threshold, please just go if you're gonna be like this and stuff. I would really rather you leave. I really don't care about what you think I do. I would rather you just leave, okay? Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and come back in my lives. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. That is what this live is about. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Ask me anything about it. If you have questions for how to get along with a person with autism or so forth, or if you want to know more about autism or just curious about autism in general, or if you have a son with autism or a daughter. And also, yeah, feel free to click my like button and subscribe as well and ask me questions about it, all right? Threshold, I'm gonna have to demote you here, buddy. I'm sorry. I gave you a lot of chances, but now we're just gonna do that. All right. So Threshold, I'm sorry. I was hoping you would try to ask some more questions, but it's okay. Autistic peoples are smart. Let's go, Michael. Michael, you should definitely subscribe as well. And you guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. What is autism? So autism is a developmental disorder. Basically, that means you develop slower than everyone else. There are three terms for autism. Low functioning autism is where people with autism are nonverbal. Okay, so they're nonverbal, non-communicative. These are the people you see making noise and stuff like that. High functioning autism are verbal people. Okay, they are verbal people, and also they're capable of developing some sort of personalities and so forth. And then Asperger's, we also have Asperger's as well, that is used to identify people with autism that have high IQs, which is very, very rare. Very rare. It's a form of autism. Okay. So, yeah. Basically, the ones are high functioning and low functioning. What's up, Addy? How's it going? Make sure to click that like button. How's it going? Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. And if you're do you have do you have weird hyper focus moments? Absolutely, I do have weird hyper focus moments for sure. Especially with the hobby I'm obsessed with or something like that, Lay, for sure. Yeah, for sure I do, for sure. What stuff do you experience? Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and come back on my lives. And again, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I'm autistic myself. So if you want to learn more about autism or learn about what it is or just curious or know someone with autism, how to get along, make sure you guys ask me. I'm autistic myself. And even if you do have autism as well, feel free to ask. All right, guys? Just asking Joe. Well, Joe, it really has nothing to do with politics. I want to keep politics out of this. I really, really do. It's not really has anything to do with politics. All right. I worked with many autistic people and started in time when autistic was not understood. Really, Quantum. I'm great to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that you work with people who are autistic. Really great to hear. How long have you been working there for? Exactly, Quantum. Quantum, you should definitely hit that like button, subscribe. Love seeing people come on here who have been working with people who are autistic and whatnot. They're very, very helpful and very, very educated as well, for sure. The best thing parents could do is ABA therapy with their children. I agree, Hans. I agree. For sure, for sure. You are definitely high. Yes, I am high functioning. I am high functioning. I was diagnosed at 8, so yeah, I am high functioning. For sure. Quantum, please feel free to ask me any questions at all. I know you've worked with people with autism, but feel free to ask me any questions at all about autism at all whatsoever if you have questions. I really do appreciate you being here. For real. Please stop the spam. Guys, do not spam, please. Okay? Do not spam, all right? Okay, guys, make sure if you're new here, make sure to subscribe or come back on my lives. Make sure to click that like button as well. That's what's up. Hey, what if I'm born autistic? Well, I mean, you can be born autistic. No chill, but I don't know what your question is. I don't know what are you talking about. What if and whatnot? Can do you think you could answer me a more direct question? No chill. I don't really know how to answer that question. If you're born autistic, you should. That I don't know what you mean by that. No chill, but feel free to ask me again for sure. Again, guys, What's some challenge you face on a daily basis? Just, well, right now depression and stuff, but noises, getting change as well. A big thing with people for autism is change. They have a really hard time with change. I have a hard time with change being autistic and stuff. So those are the main things I struggle with. Also, just like, yeah, other things too, just development in general. Isaac, I really do appreciate that question though. Make sure you guys click that like button, subscribe, guys. Again, this is an autism stream. I'm autistic myself, so if you want to know anything about autism at all, if you want to know anything about autism, whether you know someone with autism or you want to learn more about autism, or if you're autistic yourself, feel free to ask me any questions at all you have about autism in general. I could really go into detail with you if you're having trouble with someone with autism and so forth. So please definitely click that like button and subscribe too. We're 4 more likes away from 130 likes. We're 4 more likes away, so definitely click that like button too. Ooh, I've been talking a lot. Amplify analysis and clinically proven method. Yes, hands. It is. Bam the spammers. Yeah, Quantum, I'm trying to. Quantum, I really do respect you and appreciate you being here for real. Exactly, Rim. Exactly. Rim, thank you for saying that for sure. Let's go, Mark. Mark, definitely click that like button, subscribe. Click the guys, click the 4 more likes until 130. 4 more likes until 130. Addie, what's up? How's it going? What can you tell me about your experience growing up with autism? How did you do in school? How did it affect your relationships where you're currently now in terms of growing? Thank you so much for that question, John. Thank you for being respectful. Yeah, so I actually got held back in school quite a few times. I did go to preschool, but I really struggled in elementary school. And this was near the time I found out I was autistic, okay? I got held back a grade at least. And I really always did struggle with school, which a lot of autistic people do. Then when I was then I got into high school, I was in the special ed classes. They do have special ed classes, and I was in those classes as well with other autistic people too, or people who struggled and whatnot. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, thank you for asking that question. I appreciate you um asking that really respectfully. I really do. Where you're currently in terms of growing as a person? Well, I'm just trying to do my best, trying to develop it in the areas that I feel like I'm good at and so forth, John. So that's what I would say. I really do appreciate that question. I respect you asking that question. Thanks, John. Thank you, Johns. Hey, guys, if you're new here, make sure to click that button and also subscribe. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. If you have any questions for me, or if you're autistic in general, if you're curious about autism at all in general, all right? Thank you so much. Do you dream? Yes, I do dream, Quantum. I do. I'm begging you to learn more about transgender. You have no idea how anything works. I really, Jordan, I appreciate that. I don't know what that has to do with autism, though, Jordan. If you could tell me. Thank you, Rim. Thank you for saying that, Rim. I appreciate you saying that, Rim. You should definitely click that like button, subscribe, and feel free to ask me any questions. So, guys, honestly, bro, this is for those of you who are asking me about Trump. Okay, look, I am a Trump supporter. Okay, I am, but I really don't want that to get misconstrued with this. I'm not talking about politics with these type of streams. All right, I do some political streams. Okay, but really, I want to focus in and try to help people with autism or people who struggle with someone or having trouble with someone with autism. Okay, so politics is not a part of this. Please keep it out of it. I really do not relate the two. Okay, and if you do not support Trump, that's totally fine. I do not care, honestly. This is about autism and whatnot. So please don't have any hateful feelings and whatnot. Just feel free to ask me about autism. Okay, I appreciate you. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I do struggle with autism myself, so feel free to ask me anything. Could you answer? Johns, I did. Guys, I will get to your questions. Okay, so feel free to type them. I'm scrolling, so please be patient. Okay, there's a lot of questions I have to get to, or a decent amount of questions. So I'm just gonna scroll through. All right. So please be patient. All right. So if I don't answer right away, just know I will. Okay. Do autistic people repeat themselves a lot? Probably. I mean, I do. It's probably to do with speech delay and stuff, so forth. So, yeah, I agree. Again, guys, please be patient, okay? I'm not trying to ignore questions. I'm not trying to ignore questions. Do autistic people love SCAT? What is that? What is SCAT, Elisa? Does anyone knows what that is? Thank you, Leia. I appreciate you saying that. Um, Center for Autism Related Disorders is a good place to get help. Yes, guys. Again, guys, we're 4 likes away from 130 likes, guys. Again, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm an autistic person, so if you want to know more people, or if you want to know more people, if you want to know more about people who have autism, feel free to ask me anything, any questions about autism, and feel free to ask how to get along with someone with autism, or if you have autism yourself, feel free to ask that too. Guys, make sure you guys click that like button. I'm about to go get something real quick. I'll be like 10 seconds, all right? So guys, click that like button. We're 2 likes away from 130 likes, and feel free to ask questions. I'll scroll through the questions, all right? So ask me questions right now. I'll be like 10 seconds, all right? Give me 1 second. Thank you so much. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be back here. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for staying on. Hey, did autism make you a little different from other kids? Absolutely, 100%. Like I struggled socially for sure. You know, autistic people just struggle socially. MK, I really do appreciate that question as well. Ah. Right now, how are you dealing with the chat? This must be so much to take in for an autistic person, and you're taking it extremely well. You might be the most high functioning autistic person. Thank you. Well, yeah. Well, I'm trying to. I mean, I'm trying to. You know, my cat's meowing for some reason, but yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, John. Yeah, it's okay. I want to help people. You know, I want to help people. So, because honestly, bro, like struggling with autism myself, I feel a deep rooted, call to, do something like this because I really do want to help people who are autistic and help people who know people with autism as well. Because there's a lot of parents out there, there's a lot of people in general who don't know how to deal with someone who's autistic or don't really know much about it. So I really do want to help people and stuff, and also, in myself, help myself in the process to, meet new people and stuff, and try to educate people a little bit. So yeah. That's what I want to do. So definitely click that subscribe button, guys, and subscribe. Yes, regional centers. Yes, so there is something called regional center. I don't know if you guys know what regional center is, but it does have a lot of autistic programs as well. Okay. So just that. Hey, man, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Mr. Well. Mr. Well, you should definitely subscribe and come back on my lives. I appreciate you. How do you feel like a so-called autistic supremacy idea? So what is that? exactly. What is the autistic supremacy idea? I actually do not know what that is, believe it or not. Um, if you could tell me in the comments, autistic supremacy. Okay, but I'm okay. Yes. MK, thank you so much for saying that. Yep, it's one of the most disproven single studies there is. 100 papers. Yeah, got you, Millen. Heck yeah. I am new. Thank you, Mr. Wow. You should definitely subscribe. Come back in my lives. You can blick and remove people and mods. Yeah, I get that, Mars. Mars, I get that. I don't know. Maybe it's too much, a little too sympathy and stuff. I don't know what some people are on about and stuff. I'm gonna try to give them as most chances as possible because I want to be nice and kind and whatnot. And plus, I don't know if they're just trying to joke around or whatnot or so forth. So yeah, autism is a spectrum. Yes, 7M. Yes, it is. I'm autistic too. That's what's up. Say 7A. You should definitely subscribe. Come back in my lives. What'd you eat for dinner tonight? I actually did not see anything. Autism is definitely an evolutionary trait, no doubt about it. Same with ADHD. It's just not as beneficial today as it used in the tribal era. That's what's up, Millen. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys, for the nice comments. Definitely subscribe and come back to my lives. You're not answering my questions. You're not really answering. John, I just answered your questions. Or Josh, I just answered your questions. One guy said we should bring back shocking and stuff cure. Dude, that's insane, Lay. That is insane, Lay. That is insane. I'm so sorry they said that. My brother has autism, and he, wait ahead. Does he actually like hit you and stuff like that? Because that's honestly, it is that. Believe it or not, that is very common. Hitting is a very big part of autism as well. Believe it or not, stuff. And I promise you, it's probably not really in an ill will way and stuff. So wait, head, can you want to tell me more about that? Why he gets upset and so forth? Lay, I'll get Vicky in a second. Guys, again, what's up, Trippin? Again, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I have autism myself. This is an autism stream to educate people with autism. I'm an autism advocate, and I also am autistic myself. So if you want to know anything about autism, feel free to like and comment and stuff, and ask anything. Ask anything about it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave because this chat field is and too many people are trolling. Seems like to be distracting too much. I'll be back. Thank you, Rim. Rim, definitely subscribe. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Does autism cause you to be a Republican? It has nothing to do with political things, MK. Nothing to do with it at all. Okay. A friend, a friend of mine gave me a counter, the clicky one. I love the fidget. Oh, I know that fidget. What you're talking about, a fidget spinner or something. Mars, that's sick. Yeah, I recommend fidgets for sure. What's up, Trippy? Again, guys, I will get to your questions. What is a fidget used for? So it's just used for like a sensory thing. It's for ADHD, autism as well. So yeah. What's your hyperfixation? Mine is music and cooking. Mine's just watching videos or like music. Yeah, mine is music, Seaber. Or I believe that's what your name is. Seaber, you should definitely subscribe. Come back to my lives. Are you obsessed with a certain thing? So I'm obsessed with a couple of things. As I used to be like more hyper focused when I was like set around 17. It was MMA for sure, just hyper focused. Now I'm kind of hyper focused on multiple, which I shouldn't be because it stresses me out. It stresses me out sort of, but yeah, I don't know. Um, yes, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and come back to my lives. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions about autism, I'm an autistic person, so feel free to tell me ask me any questions about autism in general. Guys, we're 5 likes away from 135 likes. So if you haven't clicked that like button, definitely click that like button if you haven't. I'm Autistic too. That's what's up. Oh, let's go. Definitely click that like button. And feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. And make sure you subscribe too. As someone who's autistic, what's your hyperfixation? Sorry, I already answered that question. By the way, guys, I will get to your questions. Just type your question down below. I'm scrolling through questions, okay? I'm scrolling through questions, so be patient and stay on. I will get to your question, all right? What's up, David? How's it going? Does autism cause introvertism? Yes, yeah, for sure. I mean, autism, one of the things is social delay, right? They have a social delay. They have a developmental social delay. So, yeah, pretty much does cause you to be an introvert, you know? So yeah, there are more tools, like ways you could be not an introvert. One of them is drinking, you know, because drinking makes you more social. It could be a good tool for someone with autism, but only if they're over 21, you know? Oh, did he actually, Mars? That's funny. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lay, I'll watch out for Vicky, okay? Don't worry. Lay, I appreciate you. Yeah, guys, if you're new here, feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. Feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself. So feel free to ask me anything about autism. No, I'm not. I was born a woman and to stay a woman. Like, thank you very much. Hey, yeah, guys, can you please be easy on Lay? Okay, please be easy on Lay, or will maybe possibly mute you, okay? Be nice to Lay. She's nice. Uh, wait, guys, can you be nice? Mars, guys, Mars and everybody, can you guys please be easy on Lay? Don't joke about her around the stuff if you can. Just stay. I have autism and ADHD. It's nice to meet you. My hyperfixation right now is the Victorian era train culture. What is your current hyperfixation to have a good night today? Probably WWE for sure. SYD, thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing that you do have autism. Definitely click that like button and subscribe as well. Again, guys, if you're new here, I do have autism. This is an autism live to educate people with autism, or you know, if you want to get more educated on autism. I have autism myself, and I also know a lot about it. I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all you have whatsoever. Any questions, okay? If you want to get along with someone with autism, if you're a parent with someone with autism, or if you're autistic in general, okay? I I like your hair. It looks really silky. Thank you, Oki. Oki, you should definitely subscribe and come back in my lives. Thank you so much. Kazu. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate you. Johns, I answered your questions. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, Leia, I get that. I get that. I get it. Okay. Rainy, guys, please chill in the chat, please. Lay, just know I'm on your side. Just, just try to ignore it, Lay. Okay. That's what's up, Kzu. My little sister was born autistic. You can be born autistic. Yes, true. The best. Thank you, Greasies. Make sure to click that like button, subscribe, guys, as well. And if you guys really want to support, go to my profile and click the notification bell so you know when I do all types of live. I do political lives, autistic lives, and also WWE lives. I do my hobbies, okay? This is just one topic I do about, all right, to try to, help people with autism and help people who know people with autism, okay? So if you really want to know when I go live, click that like button, go to my profile, click the sub button, and there's the magical notification bell that appears. Click the notification bell and then click all, okay? Do you get emotional for no reason? I wouldn't say no reason, sweet. I wouldn't say no reason. Usually it's when my mom does something that upsets me that I've told her multiple times to do. That's when I say. Do you suffer from extreme loneliness? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. What's it like going through for testing with autism? Well, I barely remember it. I just remember going to the doctor, taking a test, and just finding I was autistic. I was 8. Look, I already had a Carpenter League in the last straw. Stop submitting. I got you. Don't worry. I have autism, ADHD. Thank you. Again, guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm an autism advocate. I'm autistic myself. So feel free to ask me anything about autism. Okay, guys? I'm not... Okay. How's taking a test in school? I'm taking the SAT soon. I'm very scared. I would be scared too. Yeah, I was scared taking tests in school. I most of the time failed, but SYD, I wish you all the luck, SYD. I appreciate you being on here. Click the like button, subscribe for sure. Thank you, Greases. I appreciate you saying that. My best friend's brother has autism. I know how tough it is. It's not easy to love someone who has it, but not because they're the burden, more so that they can only help them so much. Exactly, Patch. Patch, I really do appreciate you saying that for real. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, people like you, coming on and sharing that story and so forth. Patch, you should definitely subscribe and come back to my lives. And click that like button as well, Patch. And feel free to ask me anything about else about autism. I'll scroll and get to your question. Do autistic kids get emotional for no reason? How can a parent help? So I wouldn't. It's definitely not for no reason, right? There's patterns you could recognize. You could recognize, what type of things they get mad at, or if they're high functioning, they could communicate with you, which I do. Yeah, and it's just about communicate. If you're high function, communicate your boundaries with your parents, and if you're a parent and stuff, just listen to them. Okay, it might be hard. Okay, because sometimes it can feel that you're walking on eggshells, right? Like if you do one little thing, they'll get upset. Get used to that, though. Okay, get used to that because you just got to learn what they don't like. Okay, and just try your best not to cross that line. All right, even if it's a small thing. Usually, autistic people do get mad over small things. Okay, me included, but it's normal for someone with autism. Okay, it's totally normal and stuff, and it's because they really suffer with change as well. Right, but they can't really help it. All right, so just try to work with them and so forth and whatnot. Guys, again, please don't make this political. I'm not trying to make this political. Just ask questions about autism, okay? To be honest, though, didn't Trump say stuff about Tylenol? How do you feel about in general about the people with that causes autism? Okay, well, yeah, well, so it's really a link, okay? There is a link between Tylenol and autism. Dr. Oz studied it, RFK Jr. studied it, and that's the people he has in his administration. So yes, they did find a link, but it's not the sole cause of autism. I know Trump said that he said, "Oh well, it causes autism." He misspoke. He did. If you look at the full speech, you'll see Dr. Oz came up to the podium and also RFK Jr. and they were talking about a link. There is a link. It's not the sole cause, but there is a link. Okay, it's not the sole cause though. Okay, just make sure to take Tylenol carefully. Trump misspoke. Okay, Trump misspoke. He did, and he doesn't know really much better. All right, so it's understandable. How do you stim in public without looking weird? Well, I've paced in public a lot and stuff, and what I would say to do is just try to I guess do your best. Maybe go in a corner where no one could see and pace. You know what I'm saying? I get what you mean, SYD. I struggle with that too. I think, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask anything about autism. I do these type of streams a lot. Make sure you guys subscribe, come back from lives, click that like button as well. Okay, I'll try one more time. Do you think we should bring back Asperger's on the official diagnosis, but rename it so it's not named after a Nazi? Was it named after a Nazi? I never knew that. No, I think Asperger's is good. I don't think most people think of that when they think of Asperger's. So no, I don't think we should change the name. Like I said, it's not really political. What real questions are you referring to? What type of people do you like to make friends with? If someone has autism with autism, I like making friends as someone who's autistic with weird people. People who aren't into nerdy things like tech or something like that, or like just weird in general. I find myself making a lot of friends with people with BPD. So yeah, that's one of them. So yeah, that's one of them I say about. Okay, guys, I am someone with autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Guys, 3 more likes away to 140 likes. I'm not asking political questions again, guys. Feel free to ask me anything about autism for sure. I have autism. That's what's up, Jesse. Jesse, feel free to ask me anything about autism, Jesse Balter, and feel free to click that like button and also subscribe. All right. How severe do you have it? I have high functioning. So yeah, so I'm high functioning autistic, Jesse. What are you? What are you? I'm autistic, but I want to make my own choices. What is that supposed to mean, Lewis? You can make your own choices. Hey, Lay, you just don't give them attention, okay, Lay? I appreciate you, Lay, being on here, but just don't give them attention. And please don't spam, guys. I have autism. My teacher puts me in lower groups because I of it. That makes sense though, Jesse. She's trying to not put as much stress on you. You know, Jesse. I get you feel bad about it, but just know it's for the good. Okay, Jesse. Jesse, I really do appreciate you saying that and stuff and coming on here. You should definitely come back to my lives, guys. Yeah, subscribe and come back to my lives, guys, for sure. Sports Jazz, I'm gonna have to time you out because you keep joking about the trans thing and stuff. Please don't try to target someone in the comments, okay? I'm just gonna do it for 1 minute, but just please be careful, sports fan, okay? 1 minute, all right? I'm sorry, but I did ask that, okay? Um, Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're just curious about it or if you know someone or so forth. What's up, Simple Sarah? How's it going? Again, guys, I am someone with autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Again, guys, I am someone with autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. What's up, PX? How's it going? Make sure you click that like button. Guys, we are one more like away from 140 likes. Let's see if we can get 150, okay? If you haven't already, please hit that like button. If you guys are curious about autism, I'm an autism advocate. I'm autistic myself. This stream is about educating people with autism and also, letting people know about autism and what autistic people struggle with and so forth. Mm-mm. Lay, it's okay. Lay, I'll get on them. All right, don't worry, I'll get on them. Okay, Lay, it's okay. It's okay. Again, guys. Kazu, please stop. Just please stop making fun of Lay. Okay. Why would you leave with because I am. Hey guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. 2 likes away from 145 likes. 2 likes away from 145 likes. Make sure you kick that like button, guys, okay? Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic. Do not spam, guys. Do not spam, please. I will have to mute you if you do spam. Guys, 4 more likes until 150 likes. 4 more likes. If you haven't already, click that like button and subscribe. Again, guys, I'm autistic. I have autism, so this life is about educating people with autism or educating people who just want to be curious about autism. So if you guys have any questions at all, I'm autistic. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. I really do appreciate you guys, and make sure you guys subscribe and come back in my lives, okay? Yeah, Dylan, I don't know. Just try to protect her, Dylan, okay? Just try to support her. Yeah, so feel free to ask me any questions about autism, guys. Any question at all. When having autism, do they get very emotional and they when they like someone? That's a good question. So Oki is asking. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. When having autism, do you think you get very emotional when they like someone? So she's asking, does someone with autism get emotional with someone they like? Yes. So I believe that is true. They can feel more intense emotion when they're in so-called love, I guess, and also they could also, you know. Love can feel more intense. And also, I believe, at least for me, it's also easier to get angry at someone that you love. It's too, as someone with autism as well, it's easier to get angry at someone that you love. Because, again, with autism, you know, emotions are times 10. Emotions are times 10. Okay. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay. That's what's up, Jeremiah. Thank you for telling that. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, guys, I have high functioning autism. Again, if you guys want to know anything about autism, I'm autistic. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything at all. Feel free to ask me anything. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything, okay? When did you find out you had autism? So I was actually diagnosed at 8. I went to the doctor. I have very dull memory of it, but I remember going to the doctor. I remember when my mom learned I had autism, she was emotional about it and so forth. So yeah, that's when I got diagnosed. And yeah, it's been rough living with autism, but I just try to take every day at a time, and I try to be as most positive as possible. So yeah. Why is female autism underdiagnosed? What do you mean by that, Jess? I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Okay. Here, you came, Mira. I'm fine, guys. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and come back to my lives again. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. This is an autism live. I'm asking people. I'm autistic myself. Feel free to ask me anything about autism, what I struggle with, or if you have a question about autism, if you want to be educated about autism at all. Do you know how to draw? No, I don't really. Hey guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and come back to my lives. 4 more likes until 150 likes. 4 more likes until 150 likes. Yeah, okay. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Guys, so definitely subscribe, come back to my lives. 2 more likes until 150 likes, guys. Make sure you click that like button and come back to my lives and click that sub button as well. Guys, again, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you know someone with autism, you want to learn how to deal with them, or if you have any questions for me personally, or if you're autistic yourself, feel free to ask me anything, okay? Feel free to ask me anything about autism. Yeah, they tried to get me diagnosed, but I refuse. Got you. Got you, guys. Again, guys, do you have a mod? Whiskey should go. Yeah, I know. Whiskey, if you want to be respectful, you can, but if you don't, I can mute you if you want, okay? So please just be respectful, guys. Please be respectful in the chat. And guys, again, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. If you're curious, so I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything at all. You said you were high functioning. What does high functioning autism mean? So yes, high functioning means, so there's 3 tiers, okay? Low functioning autism is the nonverbal ones, okay? Nonverbal ones, that's what they call it, low functioning autism. That's what doctors call it and so forth. And those are the nonverbal ones who, make noises and so forth. High functioning autism are ones who are verbal, and so forth. They're still developmentally delayed and whatnot. And then we have Asperger's, which is considered which is a form of autism, but it's a term used for people who are high IQ, who have autism and stuff, who are good educational wise. Okay. Thank you, Jaden. I appreciate you. Definitely subscribe and come back in my lives. Thank you, Oki. I really do appreciate you saying that. I really, really do. Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you, Lay. Again, guys, if you're new here, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you have any questions about autism, or if you know anything, anyone who's autistic, or if you're a parent with someone who, if you're a parent of someone who has autism, feel free to ask me about that as well and whatnot. And yeah, I'm just here to tell you guys what I struggle with and we know autistic people struggle with in general and so forth. And yeah, and again, guys, please keep the comments nice and friendly. All right. And if you're new here, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism and so forth. I appreciate Oki for saying that. Hey guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all whatsoever if you're curious what I struggle with or whatnot. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. If you want to know about autism or know if you know someone about autism and you're just curious about it, if you want to ask any questions at all, I'm an autism advocate, so feel free to ask me anything if you want to try to get along with someone with autism or if you're a parent with someone with autism, most importantly, or if you're autistic yourself, you know. And make sure to click that like button, guys, and subscribe and come back on my lives. Thank you guys for being here and subscribe for sure. Hey guys, this is not about political things. This is about autism. Do you have difficulty meeting new people? How do you get over the fear of rejecting when you're meeting new friends in public? Yeah, so it's hard. You know, it's hard as someone who's autistic and for autistic people in general. You know, because we struggle with the social delay. You know, we're not really that social, and we struggle with talking to people and whatnot. And I believe the way to get over that is just breathe. You know, try to get a little more experience than the average autistic person and so forth. So yeah. Thank you, Nathaniel. I appreciate that. Thank you, it's DY. Definitely subscribe, guys. And if you guys are new here, definitely subscribe and come back in my lives. Hey, guys. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Thank you so much. How does autism affect you with to have a problem with talking? Well, the speech delay, right? We're not as good as talking as others. Part of it as a speech delay. You know, I was in speech therapy my whole life, and a lot of autistic people are in speech therapy, you know? Hey, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Make sure to click that like button, too. If you have any questions about autism, or if you want to learn about autism, if you're curious about it, or you know someone with autism, you want to learn how to get along with them, I am autistic, and maybe I could give you some pointers and tips and tricks and so forth. I'm an autism advocate as well. Thank you, Marina. Exactly. This is not a political live, guys. I do political lives, but this is not about it. Guys, make sure to click that like button and subscribe as well, guys. Did your parents know you have autism, or were you later discharged? No. So my mom thought I was odd and whatnot. You know, I went through a bad experience as a child with my mom, but then she eventually got me to a doctor, and he evaluated me, took a test and whatnot, and he came to the conclusion I have autism and whatnot. And guys, again, we do have a problem with self-diagnosis in the community. So there's a lot of people who are claiming to be autistic who aren't actually autistic. And again, guys, if you think you have autism, that doesn't mean you have autism. You have to get diagnosed first and get evaluated by a doctor. All right. You have to get evaluated by a doctor and so forth, you know? So unless you know you're diagnosed and so forth and going to the doctor and actually taking the test and getting evaluated and whatnot. So yeah. How can I make an autistic person feel more comfortable? Thank you for the question, Samantha, and definitely click that like button, subscribe. I would say just taking it slow with them, like you know, I guess saying your words slower. Exactly. For me, you know, I've noticed people who have treated me like because they realized I was autistic and they really some people just spoke their words slower with me and so forth. So I think that's a help and whatnot. Just being easy on them, maybe not talking too fast, I would say, and whatnot. And yeah, so that's what I would say. Why does my autistic friend repeat himself every time he talks to me? Well, probably because the social delay aspect. You know, autistic people do have a social delay and whatnot. They struggle socially, so that's probably why. Thank you, Samantha, for the question. Definitely click that like button and subscribe. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything at all, guys. Again, please don't spam, guys. Please don't spam. Menina, exactly. Thank you, Menina, for saying that. Yeah. By the way, guys, for those of you who are on here not really being too nice, if you just want to go, you can go. Or if you're gonna spam, I will have to mute you, unfortunately, and stuff. So please try to be nice. I've given a lot of people chances to be nice and so forth, and I've had to mute them, unfortunately. So please, I'm giving people a lot of chances. So please just be nice and so forth. All right. Why do you think that? Well, we've already talked about the trans thing. It's really not relevant, to be honest with you, and so forth. Again, guys, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. This is an Autism Live. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all whatsoever. And also, even if you know someone with autism, if you want to know how to get along with them, or if you want to, be more nice to them, or if you're a parent with someone with autism and whatnot. So I'm an autism advocate. I also have autism myself, so feel free to ask anything. So what's the main thing that makes people autistic? Well, what's the main thing, or what are the symptoms? So like basically, social delay is one of them. Autism basically means a developmental disorder. So a developmental disorder means this. Autism means this. It means you develop slower than everyone else. Okay. There's low functioning autism, high functioning autism, and then Asperger's. Low functioning is the one where people are nonverbal and so forth. Obviously, I'm not that. High functioning autism is the one I have, right? High functioning autism is one I have where I'm able to communicate and so forth, but I'm still developmentally delayed. And Asperger's is a type of autism, but it's used to identify people with autism who are high IQ, who have high IQs. These are the Elon Musks and stuff. These are the autistic scientists you hear about, the geniuses of autism you hear about. They have Asperger's. Okay, it's different from high functioning. Asperger's is a form of autism. All right, so just so you know. All right, so yeah. And my autistic ability affects me in so many ways, but how does it affect you in a relationship? It could affect you a lot in a relationship. You could feel more intense emotion as an autistic person in a relationship, and whatnot. And I've experienced this myself, and this just may be a mean thing, but emotions are basically times 10 when you have autism, basically times 10 and whatnot. And yeah, it's hard. It can make things hard, but if you find someone that truly likes you and so forth, I think you'll be able to get along with them and whatnot. Question: I got a real bad at like emotional stuff, as we've seen. Sorry about that. Do you have any good ways to deal with that kinds of stuff? Yeah, like it's all good. So yeah, I would just one for the comments thing, probably ignore them. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing this so forth, but also in terms of maybe you getting mad at someone, probably just walk away from them or try not to interact with them, and also maybe do deep breathing and whatnot. They teach us in behavioral therapy as well and so forth. So yeah. Again, guys, I am autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. This is an Autism Live. I'm trying to, help people with autism, and also help people learn about autism. I have autism myself, so feel free to ask anything about autism, all right? Uh, Elijah, please stop picking on Lay. Honestly, it's enough. Thank you, Wishy. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that. Definitely click that like button, subscribe. I appreciate that. Do you get fidgety often? Do you realize when you do it? I know I have a tendency to, especially when I'm stimulated by sounds and feelings. Yes, I do get fidgety. Like, and fidgets are really good for people with autism, especially me as well. Like, I fidget with the pen. Something tactile. Autistic people love things that are tactile or that have textures and whatnot. They have a very tactile feel. You know. And yeah, so yeah, I recommend getting fidgets and stuff. So yeah, I do fidget. Meninda. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, guys, this isn't a political stream, okay? I do political streams. So how you develop when you seem totally normal? Well, high functioning autistic people can come off as normal. They could do something called masking. You see a lot of high functioning autistic people, especially in women, mask themselves. They call this term masking. So people can mask when they have autism, especially high functioning people, and also especially girls. Girls tend to do it better and whatnot. So they can mask the symptoms, but it doesn't last. It doesn't last itself. It will slip. That mask will slip, and they call that masking and whatnot, Andy. So yeah, I just came on the live, and I know nothing about this guy, so don't. Thank you, Oki. I appreciate that, and yeah, CM Punk's awesome. CM Punk is awesome. What's up, Frankie? How's it going, guys? Again, I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. I'm autistic myself, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Click that like button as well. What is autism like? Well, what is it like having? I mean, it's hard. It's hard. You have a social delay and whatnot, and yeah, I don't know. It makes me to develop slower than everyone else. So it's very, I get really nervous around people for sure. I get really nervous around people and so forth, and also like I don't know. That's pretty much it. And I struggle with developmental things. Phoebe, definitely subscribe and come back to my lives. What do you do to lower your symptoms? I don't know if there's anything you can do to lower your symptoms, but manage your symptoms more. Manage symptoms of autism is a more better thing to say, Willie. But Willie, yeah. So how do you lower it? Like, I'm not even sure to answer that question, to be honest with you. I would say just learn coping skills, learn coping mechanisms, and so forth. So that's one thing I would say. That's one thing I would say for sure. Again, guys, if you're new here, I do have autism, so feel free to click that like button, subscribe. Feel free to ask me anything about autism if you're curious about it, if you want to learn more about it or learn more about me, or if you know someone with autism or you're autistic yourself. Okay. Thank you, Minia. I appreciate you. I do get to the questions, by the way. Yes, hard. I do. I remember you. And guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism. I have autism too. That's what's up, Spine. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. Spine, you should definitely subscribe and come back to my lives. Click that like button as well. And feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. Anything at all. Anything at all. Hi, I'm autistic. I have an autistic little brother, and I have a question. I would like to know what I could do to comfort him and make him feel better around him. Well, just go easy on him. And I would say, usually autistic people don't really like to be touched too much. I don't know if you noticed that with your brother, but they're very sensitive to touch as well. So me included and whatnot, and they might get nervous when you touch them. Okay, but I would definitely recommend that just go easy on him. Try to put the least amount of pressure on him because remember, autism is a developmental disorder. It simply means that you develop, in simple terms, it means you develop slower than everyone else. Okay, and yeah, so I would just say take it easy on him and also watch the touchiness and stuff. But I don't know if he likes touch, but also with people with autism, they really like pressure as well. I know I just mentioned the touch thing, but for me, when I was in behavioral therapy and whatnot, what we used and what my mom used was like stuff like weighted blankets. Autistic people really love weighted blankets for sure because it relieves pressure and nerves and whatnot, and it makes them feel comforted. So I would recommend getting a weighted blanket and also giving them big hugs, like squeezing hugs and whatnot. I'm telling you right now, they really do like pressure and whatnot, and I've experienced this myself. They like pressure, and I would recommend getting a weighted blanket as well because they do love weighted blankets, and I love weighted blankets too. All right. I'm going to go live. I'm kind of Lay. Please come back. All right, please come back. These people won't. I'll get rid of these people eventually, Lay. I'm so sorry they did that to you, Lay. But please come back. Let's go, John. That's what's up, John. Definitely click that like button, subscribe. Thank you, Lincoln. Definitely subscribe for sure. I have an autistic daughter who is extremely brilliant. That's amazing, Brenda. Brenda, what is she brilliant in? Most autistic people do not like hugs because they don't like touch. Well, they like hard hugs. They like hard hugs and so forth. Me too. They like pressure. Pressure is what I would say, Brenda. A lot of pressure and what like weighted blankets help and so forth. Again, guys, I have autism. Feel free to ask me anything about autism. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. If you want to know about autism, or if you have a son with autism, or if you want to get along with someone with autism, feel free to ask me. I could try to help you out and so forth. Guys, click that like button, subscribe as well. We're literally 2 likes away from 160 likes. 2 likes away from 160 likes. How do people with low functioning autism communicate their needs? Well, they really can't, unfortunately. But I would say they communicate their needs in, when you see low functioning autistic people outburst and stuff, you could see there's patterns, you could see what they get mad at. Pardon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but thank you, Pardon, for asking that question. Definitely click that like button and subscribe for sure. So yeah, you can see pattern, one of the unfortunate things for low functioning people is they can't communicate because they're nonverbal, and it's really sad and whatnot. But there are patterns you can realize. Okay, you can realize what they get mad at, what they don't, and so forth. What they like, you can watch their facial expressions as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go, Andy. Heck yeah, Andy, let's go. Do you feel you have insight into the most severe nonverbal uh, or minimal verbal autistic people? Well, I've met people who are low functioning autistic, so I think I have a good idea. I've met multiple people who are low functioning, and my mom as well has worked a lot with low functioning autistic people. So yeah, again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. I'm autistic, so feel free to ask me anything about autism if you want to know any questions about autism or just curious in general about it. Feel free to ask me anything, or if you know someone as well, if you have it yourself, Hey, Mix, I'm struggling a lot. There's some kind of motivation to help folks and me in this live. Yes, Vortex. Vortex, feel free to ask me any questions at all. I'll try to motivate you as much as possible. If you're struggling with autism or something like that, Vortex, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys click that like button as well and so forth. What's the problem with being an yeah, guys? Honestly, guys. By the way, I want you to know that I am a Trump supporter, but that really has nothing to do with this live. Honestly, it really doesn't matter. If you guys don't support Trump, I'm totally fine with that. Okay, I'm totally fine with it. That this live is about autism. Okay, specifically, and things to cope with autism, and also things to deal with people with autism. Okay, so please don't bring politics into this. All right, honestly, this is about autism specifically. I do political lives as well if you want to join those, and but this specifically is about autism. Okay, so please don't bring politics into this and so forth. Thank you, Oki, for saying that. Exactly. Thank you, Mina. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. What effects does alcohol have what effect does alcohol have with autism? Good question. So, alcohol could actually be. Hold on. So, alcohol can actually be a very useful tool for someone with autism because it makes them more social. It makes them more social. It makes me more social. Me having autism as well, it makes me more social. It could be a very useful tool. However, they also are more likely to get addicted to alcohol. Surprisingly, not surprising, really. They do have more of an we do have more of an addicted personality, or addictive personality, and but it could be used as a useful tool. You just got to keep it low, and only if you're above 21. Okay, so that's what I would say. All right. And guys, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, come back to my lives, make sure to click that like button as well, okay? Thank you so much. What are my current students? Not fully noticed about number one. I have autism level 1. That's what's up. Mac, thank you so much for saying that. And make sure to subscribe, Mac Wilson or Mackie Wilson. Thank you so much for telling me that. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions about autism at all. I really do appreciate the people who come on here and have autism as well. So make sure to click that like button, subscribe. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all if you struggle with it or so forth. And make sure to click that sub button as well and come back on my lives, all right? I do all sorts of live and so forth. Thank you, Mackie Wilson, for saying that. Hey, Mixie, I wanted to ask, what kind of autism do you have? I know from experience with my friends, they have our direct diagnosis that changed the way someone acts, and rather it's where the things. Yeah, for sure. So I actually am high functioning. I have high functioning autism, which is level one autism, level one ASD. There's different levels, but we have low functioning autism, high functioning autism, and then Asperger's. Low functioning is the nonverbal, high functioning is what I have, which is the verbal, able to develop a personality and so forth. And Asperger's is is like it's a form of autism that of people who have a high IQ. So these are going to be like the Elon Musks and stuff like that. The geniuses you've heard of with autism, these are the people who have Asperger's. It's designed to identify the people with autism who have high IQs. Hey guys, feel free to ask me anything about autism and stuff. Sometimes I got crazy. I actually understand what you're going through. I have friends with autism. Thank you, Crate. God, by the way, guys, I'm terrible with names, pronouncing names, so I hope you forgive me. But Crate, I don't know if it starts with a K, but thank you for saying that. Definitely like and come back on my live and sub as well. Guys, do not spam, please. Do not spam. I'm going to have to mute you if you do. Okay, so please do not spam. All right, guys, I'm going to be here for a short amount of time. Guys, we're 5 likes away from 170 likes. So if you haven't liked already, make sure you click that like button right now. We're 5 likes away from 170 likes. So if you haven't already, click that like button and also subscribe. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism as well. I appreciate you guys. And if you guys really want to support, go to my profile, click the sub button, and click the notification bell so you guys know when I go live. I do all sorts of lives. I like WWE. I like UFC. I like political type of lives as well. So if you really want to support me about all the things I do, this is one of them. Please, and come on my streams. Please go to my profile, click the notification bell, and then click all. That way you know when I go live, and it would really be awesome. Come and show support, but I really do appreciate you guys here. Make sure you guys click the like button and so forth. When someone's labeled as autism, he's 4 years old. What do you mean labeled? What do you mean labeled with autism? No. Yeah, silence. Well, they changed it, right? Silence. They changed it, right? But they got rid of Asperger's. But there's been multiple autism advocates who said they shouldn't have because it's designed to literally identify people with high IQ. So technically, yes, level one autism is technically Asperger's as well. But really, it was invented to identify people with autism that have high IQ. So I still use Asperger's because I still think it should be a thing and stuff because level one autism people with high functioning autism don't have really a high IQ. In fact, they have a below average IQ, usually about around 90, okay? Barely average, all right? So I don't think it's good to I think it's good to separate the two because the geniuses with autism have Asperger's, right? And so forth. So that's why I separate the two and whatnot because I don't believe it's wise to tell people that with high functioning autism that they're educationally smart because it's basically impossible to be. It's impossible to have high functioning autism and be educationally smart because they just don't have the IQ for that, and it's just not reality. Okay, so I keep it truthful about autism and stuff and whatnot. So that's why the Asperger's is still included in there for me, and it should be included in general. They got rid of it with some liberal pushed agenda, I believe. I don't know what it was, but that Dr. Temple Grandin with autism has said uh, about this and talked about this, guys. Guys, 2 more likes until 170 likes. If you're new here, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all, guys. Anything about autism at all, if you're curious about it or know someone with autism or so forth. How do you feel about Elon Musk being the first trillionaire? Amazing, amazing. What's up, Lily? What's up? Feel free to ask me anything about autism, guys. Guys, we're 2 likes away from 170 likes, so make sure to click that like button if you haven't already. Guys, again, I do have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. If you struggle with it, or if you know someone with autism, or if you're just curious about it, if you're just curious about it, or so forth. That's Macy. That's awesome. I like WWE too. Do you know any ways to stim healthily? My little cousin has autism, so I want to know more. I can help them with the overstimulation. Yeah, well, I mean, stims. If you mean by pacing and flapping and stuff like that, like it's really autistic people who pace and stuff. They're really just excited. Or autistic people who pace are just thinking deeply about something. Autistic people who flap and stuff like that, they're really just excited. Okay. It could be both. Pacing could indicate that they're either excited or really deeply thinking about something. Okay, that's what I did when I was pacing and stuff. When I do pace, I still deep think, or I'm either excited. And when I flap my arms and whatnot and stuff, when I'm listening to music and so forth, I just I'm excited. I'm excited. And that's the same with autistic people as well. You can look it up as well. Guys, again, if you're new here, make sure to click that like button, subscribe too. It is silence. I promise you, it is. I've looked it up and so forth. What's your IQ? So yeah, I have about a 90 IQ, so barely average, barely average. Silence, but I'm telling you, it is. I'm telling you. Um, Thank you, Lily. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for saying that, guys. Thank you, Sunrise. You should definitely subscribe and come back to my lives and click that like button. Again, guys, I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism at all. I have autism, so feel free to ask me anything about autism. Guys, we're 4 likes away from 175 likes. Click that like button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I I respect people with autism. Thank you. Hi. You should definitely subscribe and come back to my lives for sure. For sure, guys. If you're new here, make sure you sub and come back to my lives. I really do appreciate you guys. Two more likes until 175 likes. Again, guys, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and come back to my lives. All right, guys. I'm about to go ahead and go, guys. I really do appreciate you guys being here. I'm pretty exhausted from talking a lot. It's very hard for someone with autism to do this. All right, like I feel exhausted, but I really do appreciate you guys who are here and told me about your autistic journey and also asked me questions and whatnot. Definitely subscribe and come back to my lives to learn more and also turn on notifications if you really want to support me. How you do that is go to my profile, you click the notification bell, and you click all. All right. And I really do appreciate you all your stories that you guys told me and all the questions. I really want to make these lives about helping people, to be honest, helping people who know people with autism, helping people who do have autism, and helping people just getting educated about autism and so forth. So this really does mean a lot to me, and I really do appreciate you. And again, guys, I do other live streams as well. Okay, I'm gonna be doing these lives randomly and so forth. I do other lives as well. I do WWE streams. I'm a big WWE fan. I do political streams. So guys, if you want to come on those, just come on those as well and show support. All right. And ask me any questions about that. I do ask anything streams. I do Trump streams as well. I do ask me anything about Trump. Again, guys, I do not care if you support Trump or not. Okay, I'm not one of these people to, cross over politics into everything. All right, I really don't care. You could come on and criticize me and ask questions about something critical about Trump if you want, but please learn how to separate the two. All right, and also, guys, I love UFC as well. Love UFC, guys, and I really do appreciate you guys for coming on here. Really do. Thank you guys so much. I will see you next time. Again, guys, really want to support, click the notification bell. And yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. Really, really means a lot to me, your stories and your questions, guys. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you.